Eruption. I'm just kidding, guys. But on the real though, welcome back to another video. I'm Miss Trainer Josh, and I will be joined by my co-host of Pardon the Eruption, Hunter Z Infected. If you want to introduce yourself.
You already did it for me, man.
Okay. Well, today, gentlemen and ladies, we will be going over the auction of the DPL Season 8 draft that just took place today. And I know it's crazy that we were just doing Party Eruption. It feels like a couple weeks ago. Now all of a sudden we're here. But yeah, brand new season, sort of brand new coaches, brand new rosters, and we're here to talk about it. So without further ado, let's begin. We'll be starting off with the Wigglytuffs Guild, and you might be able to see a familiar face on the screen. We got Hunter Z Infected, who was the third overall pick of the Wigglytuff Guild. I'll start off with my thoughts on the team. It's coached by King L5 and Money Guy. They've been a DPL classic since, I believe, the beginning, honestly. Maybe even Season 1. But I know at the very least since I joined in Season 2. And their first pick was Pyronox. He was pretty good when he first started. I want to say it was like Season 5, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I have a lot of respect for the guy. But he still has a decent Ultra Sun and Moon record. He's 12-7 overall. And his overall record is 17-13, which looks like really good. But again, those numbers are pretty hyperinflated from when he first started, and it has not really met up to par since then. But, I mean, every single year he has the opportunity to try to continue with what he left off on. Then obviously they got Aster J, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He's like an OG of the game, and he's done really well in the last couple of seasons. So I think a pretty strong 2 picks. And then obviously you have Hunter, who I have a lot of respect for myself. Even if I do like to shit talk him every once in a while, I think he's got some pretty decent skill, despite the fact that he didn't do too well last season. But then you got this roundup of Sylvie, Burger, Palkia, and Scrappy. Sylvie could be good, but a little bit of a wild card because I don't have a lot of information on them. They've never competed in DPO. I just know that they've competed in other leagues and Smogon, I believe, or other draft leagues as far as I'm concerned. And they've performed pretty well. But again, we've had players that even last season were like Mimikyu Stardust, who performed really good in Smogon, and then they shit the bed in DPL, so you just never know. And then we had Palkia and Scrappy 10 and Burger. I think they're all decently, like, not that amazing, but they're 5-6K players. It's to be expected. But if you have a decent enough coach with decent enough team building and helpers, you can get a 5K player to be a 15-20K player any day. But overall, you got a pretty strong top team. And I should mention, each team has the opportunity to have one coach or both coaches play every week. And it gives you less points depending on how you go about it. If you decide to have both coaches play, I believe you get 25K less. Something like that. It might be 20K. I'm not 100%. But either way, you do get a deduction how much money you could spend on your players. But in this case, the Wigglytuff Guild allowed for L5 and Money Guy to coach and play, which is interesting because Money Guy is normally not known to play that often outside of like emergency game 8 situations. But since the new season allows for us to have 8 games per week, even in the regular season, it does kind of shift how people approach this season, which I think is really fun. But what are your thoughts on your drafted team, Hunter?
All right. Let me get into it. First, I'll start with the captains. L5 and Money Guy. First of all, I have a lot of respect for both of them from my time on Tangang with them. Money Guy, I love to see win. So I'm really happy he's going to be playing games because I was always hyped when he was playing and winning in Tangang. But then with L5, I have a lot of respect for him and his lab and his cooking meth or whatever.
Yeah, they call him Walter White.
Dude, yeah, for real. He puts in so much work and thought into that stuff. And it's just like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot for a draft player to go through. So and he's, arguably top whatever player, just put a number. And I'm going to say, yeah, you're probably right. So really glad that I got them as captains. Though, honestly, I don't think any of the captain cores are that bad to be captained under or to be playing under. But I'm just happy, especially with how the server is already going. I like the server. It's a fun chill time. So I'll move on. Pyro, 19.5K. I think this is right. I don't think this is an overpay or an underpay.
I
Pyro,
agree. I fully agree with you on that.
yeah, Pyro went what 3-4 last season,
I'm
so
not
negative. But
100%. Yeah.
I don't think a negative record in any given season is a indication of your skill as a player because records are fraudulent. Take that from someone that went negative last season.
Anybody would say that if they go
uh,
negative this season, but
yeah,
you do you,
yeah,
bro.
dude, I got the right to say that. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping. I don't actually know Pyro that well, to be honest with you.
Really? I thought you teamed up with
So
him like at least once.
if I have, I don't remember. Did I team up with Pyro? No, I don't think so. I think I played against Pyro in a DPL match once, but that's about it. And I think Pyro smoked me too. I think it was like season 4 playoffs
Oh,
or
that might have
something.
been what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why like and then L5 clowns me for it or something. But yeah, so uh hope to see how that goes, prepping and watching him play and stuff, mocking him. Aster, 30.5K. Uh, the price point, anytime a price gets above 25K, I'm like, that's a little scary. What was Aster's record
Okay,
last
so last year
season?
he actually went 2-5. It was his worst season by far.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think
Hey,
the two seasons
again,
before that though he was really good, but last season was
yeah,
like again a really off season
it
for him.
was a season 6. He had the clutch gene season. Remember, he
Yeah.
won like every game 7.
I think he's won an MVP of a division, if I'm not mistaken. I might have been. I think it was the Sun and Moon he won MVP in. If not, he definitely did win an
Probably.
award. He won, and he's got a really good playoff record, which I think is a very important factor with some of these players. I would know. I've had a really bad track record of playoffs, so trying to have somebody who can win is good. And yes, he's an Ultra Sun and Moon MVP at one point. I forget if it was like season 5 or season 6, but he's really
Probably season
talented.
6.
Yeah,
I bet it was season
so
6.
he's got the skill. It's just believe me, we've all had our really bad weeks, bad seasons in DPO. It's just it happens to everybody. Even L5, I think last season was pretty bad. So
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. You remember X-Ray, 28K X-Ray, something like that?
well,
One in 7
yeah, and
or
that's
something?
why I'm saying like you gotta be careful with some of these unknown players that go for a decently high price because of their previous successes. Because it's not 1-to-1 sometimes from draft to smoke on, unfortunately for these
Yeah,
guys.
so regardless though, what was I saying? Oh, I was chatting with Aster earlier in general chat, in our just chats. Dude, Aster's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. I'm already loving being his teammate. So, I'm gonna make sure he doesn't have a losing record this season. You
Yeah,
know? Goat. For the Goat Guild. That's what I call us.
the
No, I
goat
call us the
guild.
Content Guild. Me, Aster, and L5.
Why? Because you all upload
Real
content.
content makers.
Oh, I see.
Huh?
You
Yeah.
guys are uploading content. I know Aster sometimes used to. I don't know if he still does though.
I'm anyways, but yeah, I'm excited. I I think he'll perform well to his price. And it looks like he's gonna be active. Sorry, I just burped.
Yeah, I was pretty
Then there's
disgusting
me.
of you. No cap.
Then there's me, 17.5K. I mean, I can't really comment on myself, right? I had a rough season last season, so I thought I would go lower, to be honest. But it happens. I'm not gonna push myself hard for having a one bad season. Uh, Sylvie, I don't know anything about Sylvie. I've seen Sylvie's name. I around. I think Smogon maybe. I don't remember. And 12.5K is honestly a good chunk. Like if you look around, it's more than other players that I do know, like Zugubu, who has like actual record in DPL. Astiff, who I know from DGBA. Slick, who I know from DGB. Slick is awesome. Um, PZZ. These are all names that went for less than what Sylvie went for. I think Sylvie did well in DCL, Josh. I don't know if how right that is, but we didn't do DCL.
I was gonna say
So we don't really know.
what is DCO? Is it like a DPO like alternative?
Yeah, basically, it's like Smogon's DPL.
Oh, okay. I think I remember
Oh,
people were like telling me to
but it
sign
was
up
just
for
like,
it at one point.
yeah, run by draft players though, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like DPL 2 or something. I don't know. Anyways, so I don't know anything about Sylvie, but Sylvie made an announcement in our server. Thought that was awesome. It was a great announcement that we're gonna win the season. Spoilers. I fully agree, and that's why I think Sylvie is great for the team. Burger, I haven't seen Burger play. I think I played against Burger one time a few seasons ago in DPL. Maybe it wasn't Burger. I don't remember.
I don't remember you ever playing Burger personally.
I think I played Burger, and I
Yeah.
brought a Trick Room Slow King
Dude,
against
if you
him.
played Burger, it must have been a season where I was mentally checked out because I do not remember you playing this guy at all, dude.
Probably, dude.
Yeah, it might have been
Uh,
actually. Mhm.
Again, great chat presence. Said Darkrai is unviable. I fully agree, and that's all I need to know that I'm gonna have a good time with Burger. Uh, Palkia 62 is a DGBA admin. That's all I need to know. I know Palkia. I chit chat with Palkia every now and then in DGBA chat. Um, 6K. I wonder how that. I think Sunsun out a bid, and Sunsun's also a DGBA admin. Sunsun and Yahoodles. Oh, we could have had another player if they did an upbid. Whatever, that's fine. Palkia, I imagine will be playing every maybe 2 of the first 3 weeks. Maybe subbed out with Scrappy 10. I don't know. Um, I'm not sure how performance-wise these bottom guys will do, but with our support, and I'm gonna do my best to support them, I think they'll be fine. And I have full faith in Palkia. And Scrappy, I don't even know. Like, I know Scrappy is seen as a meme, so I don't know what the plan. Like, are they gonna? Is L5 just? I Scrappy can play. I've seen him win games.
Scrappy
Yeah,
actually
you know what? He's
he
fine.
went 3-4 last season. Which isn't actually all too bad. It's like actually about the average to be honest
Yeah,
with
I
you.
went 3-4.
Yeah,
Pyro went 3-4.
yeah. Burger went 2-2 actually. He went 500. So like your bottom players have actually have had some pretty good numbers
I've
recently.
shown they can win games,
And
right?
Palkia has never competed, I think, in DPL. So this is actually a first time for them.
Right.
So it'll be interesting
Hey,
because
you know
like your
what?
bottom
Everyone
guys
has
have
a first
numbers.
time.
Yes, exactly. We all had our first time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes down. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like your 5-6K players have proven they can win games. So, but also you just got to
So
remember they
overall,
can lose games too. So just don't get too frustrated if they do.
they're not gonna lose.
They're gonna go undefeated.
But yeah, that's how I feel about my team. I kind of rambled a bit, but I'll speed up with the rest.
Yeah, it's a
Nature's Madman time.
Yeah, yes, sir. But yeah, it's okay. He has that personal bias towards his team, so of course he's gonna drag on and on about it. But we digress as we got the Nature's Madmen, coached by Habita and Blitz, and we should also mention before we move on. But yes, each week we have to play 8 games, and I don't know if you are counting on your screen how many players these people have, but some of these teams are kind of pretty close. Like the Wiggly Tough Guild only have 9 total players that could play per week, and you have to play 8. So if there's some scheduling issues for some of these players, like multiple, then that's going to be a really big issue for some of these guys. And especially for tiers like Auras that don't have a lot of recognition, if somebody like one tricks that tier and they're like going on vacation, it's going to be a really big issue for some teams. So that's something they also had to consider as they drafted. And I noticed in this draft, a lot of players went for a lot of money, and it and it inhibited a lot of development potential with having like a 10-player team. A lot of these teams are only with 9 players, maybe a couple with 10, very few with like 11 though, from what I could tell. But we'll discuss that more later on. So yeah, we got the Nature's Madmen. I already introduced the coach. They have Rye with their first pick. Rye is an OG of the game. I'll never forget. He was a mid-season transaction pick on my team in season 2, and that was his first ever chance. And he like fucking lit it up, man. And ever since then, he's been playing really well. DPO coach champion of his own right, and I mean he'll always have that to like always lean back on forever. So he's like not a joke. Like,
Fraudulent chip. Fraudulent chip.
why so? Why it was it?
Krikovai should have beaten them.
It was in the bubble. Was that why it was fraudulent?
Yep.
But yeah, even whether it was fraudulent or legitimate, Rye is like probably one of the more respected players I've seen in this community. So yeah, he's always
I
gonna get
agree.
that.
No, I mean I agree. He went for
Yeah,
25K.
I was gonna
There's
say,
a
yeah,
reason.
the value shows. Yeah, like he'll always go for 25K. I say it because I don't remember how well he did last season. It wasn't anything to like ride home about though. But I mean, Rye will always go for that prestigious value because of what he is. But let me actually, you know what? I'll do a live check for y'all. What did he do last season? Let's see. Standings.
Yeah, and while you do that, I also agree. Respectable player. Anytime I play Rye, I'm like, I need to take this game seriously if I want to win.
Yeah. He went 3-3 last season, which again, it's not bad. If he can go 500, that's like okay. It's not obviously what people want, but it's better to go in with a losing record. And the competition is no joke, so it's like to be expected if you lose a couple games.
Last season was fraudulent.
Yeah, there's
That's what I'm hearing. Every record was bad.
yeah, except for me, man. Oh man, I was at top of the Oras MVP chart, but I didn't win the MVP. That was Rob Jr. But whatever. Yeah, we got Rye. We got the Sky Penguin. I thought his name was Shady Penguin, but no, it's Sky Penguin. I've never heard of this dude personally. It's his first time competing this season. He went for 25K though. So whatever. Yeah.
He's a SPL player, is what I heard.
Okay. I imagine he did pretty damn good if he went for the same price as Rye. So I guys got a lot of expectation to try to meet.
Thing is, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
X-Ray.
X-Ray, Mimikyu Stardust is like a couple I can think of.
Mimikyu Stardust did not go for 25K though.
I thought he went for a lot.
No, he went for like 11K
Still,
at most.
Oh really? Oh, I always thought he went for a lot. I might be thinking of another. I might be thinking of another player. But yeah, I know X-Ray was like the prime example of going for so much money and just really not performing whatsoever.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. I just looked it up. It looks like Sky Penguin won the Sun and Moon OU Global Championship 2022.
Oh shit! Okay, so that's probably what he's
Now,
gonna be playing. He's probably playing Sun and Moon then.
Don't know what that is necessarily, but it looks like he won a $50 Amazon gift card. So congratulations to Sky Penguin.
Congrats to Sky Penguin. I hope you got yourself like a wonderful ninja blender off Amazon or something. But anyways, we got Nick. I don't know too much about this guy. I know he was on the Hungry Men team, the nefarious Hungry Men. But he went 2-3 last season. Like, not the most amazing stuff. And he went for 16K. I've never really seen the most amazing stuff out of this guy. So I thought it was like a little bit of an overpay, personally. But I've never teamed with him. So maybe he provides a lot more towards like prep than I'm giving him credit for. But purely off play, I don't see where the value comes from. And I don't mean that in any sort of slight. It's just my personal perspective on it.
I think you got to keep in mind it's also relative to what players are left as well.
Yeah.
So some players, maybe there's a player that would go for like that goes for like 22K, but they're more like a 15K player, and it's like, wow, what an overpay. But then you look at everyone left after them, it's like a bunch of like 10K players. So all of a sudden, this 15K player has more value, right? And I'm not saying that's what's happening with Nick. I'm just saying that could be what's happening.
Yeah. Considering he was a third pick, though, I'm not 100% if that's true, but maybe. But I know what you're saying. It does happen. It does happen.
Neither of us have team with Nick. We don't know what's going on.
And
I think
our word isn't absolute truth. Obviously, we're just giving our thoughts here for this video. But those are my thoughts on the player, personally.
If this is an overpay, I don't think it's by a lot.
It's not by a lot. And I think, I don't know enough because this was 2 seasons ago, but I think he did decently well on the Hunger Men. He was like the one bright spot. I remember him doing pretty decently. But
I don't remember anyone doing decent on that team.
There was, I don't know if you remember, because that was when we departed the eruption. There was like 2 good players on that team, and I believe one of them was Nick. And I think Burger.
I feel like I talked to Nick a while back, and I'm just like forgetting every conversation I had with him.
Yeah,
I feel kind of bad if that's the case.
Next, we got Bacon, the assassin. Bacon, Eden, assassin. He's a first timer.
No
I'm pretty sure. I don't know who he is either, but he went for 10K. Whatever previous experience he must have must be okay. Pretty decent.
Oh, you know what? Probably another DCL player, if we're being honest.
I think I've seen him in DGBA too. I think he's in Quick Feet, if I'm not mistaken. Which, for reference, is like the lower division of this league that we play in.
That might be. I mean, maybe. How much do you pay attention to that, though? I feel like I pay attention.
I've seen his profile picture, which is like the monkey profile picture. I think I've seen him in the
I thought he
server.
had a bacon profile
Nah,
picture.
it's a monkey. You can look it up.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the GPA doc and I'm gonna look up
Yes, while he does that
quickly.
and does some research, I'll go over the rest of the draft because we are taking a little too long. We do have Jasha, went for 8.5K. He's been around for a while. I don't think he's ever had like a great season. He doesn't look like he performed last season either, so I actually don't know if he's previously played in DPO. But his previous experiences in other leagues have been okay, hence the 8.5K price. Pretty active guy from what I can tell. I've seen him around a lot at least, and I'm really not around that much around the community, so I want to
Dude, Josh is
imagine
cool.
he's cool. I'm not saying anything's wrong with him. I'm just saying I don't know what to expect from him because he hasn't competed. And 8.5K, I expect him to do a little
You know
bit
what?
above average.
I
And
haven't seen him play in a while either, so I don't know what to expect. But I think 8.5K is fine for him because if I remember correctly, he was above average, but in play. So I imagine. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that he's cool as a person.
all right, then we have the last three players with Metro, who went 0-3 last season. So I don't know why he got redrafted. Maybe this guy likes him, Habitat and Blitz. Not to be mean, but I mean that's a really poor performance. But hey, maybe his prep is like really good with his teammates. Then we got this Lucas 2543 guy. I've never met him. Don't know anything about him. I don't know anything in terms of his previous experience, but he got a couple GOAT emotes when he got nominated, so he must be decent in some sort of capacity. Then we got the Flying Bird for 5K, who I don't know how active he'll be. When he was a coach a couple seasons ago, I thought he was good. He's funny as hell to talk to, and I actually think he's got some decent skill because he's been around for a long time. So I actually do think if he really puts his effort into it, it's a steal of a price actually for
And
5K.
hey,
So
I think Bird is a part of the Eruption fan too.
from what I could tell, he was. So Bird, if you ever make it this far, shout outs to you, bro, because I really do like you. I like talking to you, and I think you're decent. You went for 5K because you were the last nominee, so probably a lot deeper into the draft. But damn good player, man. I hope you put in some good effort because you could really shine and beat some pretty good value players. But yeah, any thoughts on the team, Hunter?
Okay, first, Bacon is not in DDBA. You are full of it.
Oh, I do. I thought I saw him. Okay, well, I don't know his previous
Second,
experience then, but he went for 10K.
yeah, I don't know either. I'm sure he's cool. Metro, uh, let me comment real quick on these last three.
Yeah,
Metro, yeah, went 0-3. I remember, I think I was disappointed in some of the play I saw from Metro's games, if I remember correctly.
I do
I think there
remember.
was a
Yeah.
big time choke in one of them, and just bad play. And, but again, last season, fraudulent, who knows? Maybe just had one bad season on their first season. I don't know. So hopefully Metro got drafted again for a reason. I'm sure it's a good reason. Lucas, I don't know anything about. I'm sure he's somewhat good. And Bird, he went like almost undefeated that one
That's
season.
what
I
I'm
can't believe he
saying.
only went for
That's
5K.
what I'm saying. He didn't play last season, and I understand that. But he's damn good, man. I don't know why he went for so low. Well, I know why he went for low because of when he was not nominated, but he should have been nominated earlier. Is what I'm saying, and got some proper value.
Maybe people think that was a fraudulent season for him.
And I get it because
Not
he's like a
really.
really old head, and he like literally doesn't play outside of DPL. So I kind of get it, but he's a good player. So
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll regret it
yeah,
letting him go for 5K.
I'm telling
And
people there's a chance they're gonna regret him going so low.
dude, I didn't comment on Habitat and Blitz. I just realized.
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts on them? Because I really don't know too much about Habit outside of his really good performances in the last
Dude,
few years, and Blitz I
first of
don't
all,
know too
I
much
remember
about.
having this conversation with you. I can't believe you don't know much about Habitat. Habitata's really damn good. Okay, that's all you need to know, honestly.
Yeah, I mean I've seen him
Blitz,
play over the years, but like I've never spoken from him ever or anything like that. So
all I know is that he got that Gengar PFP,
yeah.
and he makes me think of King Nappy when I see him. So
Oh dude,
take that as you will.
he was the top of the leaderboard in Sword and Shield outside of Zugubu. So yeah, no, he could play. Habit, I mean.
Yeah, but we all knew that. We all knew he could play.
Yeah.
Blitz, dude, it's so funny because my first memory of Blitz is like, oh, this is little Blitz.
Yeah,
right?
lowercase
And then
Blitz
there's
is what they call him, literally.
lowercase, but lowercase Blitz is like undoubtedly better than the other Blitz now because the other Blitz doesn't even play anymore.
No, unfortunately, he's kind of out of the game. And this one has been around since he was being called the other Blitz. And I don't know if he'll always hold that reputation, but he's done okay. Like he hasn't really had the opportunity to shine because he's just been a player. He went 2-1 last season though, which again, assuming you're probably a bench player, that's pretty good. Like to get your opportunity and almost win all of them. I mean, 67% win rate is nothing to scoff at. So,
I think he's better now. Like I think he's improved, is what I'm saying, and I think this is like
this will be his grand opportunity because I'm assuming it's a 2-man coaching performance.
Dude, like 2 years ago, I would have been like, "Is this a meme captain or something?" Like, what is this? But now I'm like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, they're probably just friends, so there's that.
Yeah, but I think he's still good enough to be a captain, to be like playing in DPL.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you have any final thoughts. I'm ready to move on.
I'm ready to move on as well. As we are going to move on to the retirement home of Made in Heaven. And the reason why they're called Made in Heaven.
No way you called it that.
They're called Made in Heaven because that's where they're going to be going soon. They're so damn old, bro. As it's coached by iPro and Lejon, two OGs of the game. Call me a bot or not. I got a lot of respect for both of them, honestly, because, I mean, they've been around for a while, and they both have played pretty well. Lejon has even won, like, a fucking, I think, tiebreaker playoff game, I think, like, somewhat recently. So, I mean, nothing to scoff at. iPro's one of the better Sun and Moon players in the community. So, yeah, pretty good captain corn, and they've been like fucking bread and butter for as long as I can remember. So, yeah. Moving on to the players, we got
Hold on.
Oh, what do you got to say?
Them.
Yeah.
First, LeBron.
LeBron. Oh, that would be something.
No.
That would be something if LeBron was playing in DPL, man. Holy crap.
Lejon. Shout outs to Amino. I'm an Amino OG.
I remember him being in Amino too. I thought that was a fever dream, but I thought I saw him there too. Yes.
Yeah. And Lejon is like the only name outside of our group, outside of IECL. I only remember Lejon. I don't remember any other.
I remember Mega Osh as well. I saw him in a couple of Amino leagues back in the day.
Mega Osh. Well, I do remember him.
Yeah, of course, bro.
And Sudsy. Okay. Anyways. He was like really good for a while, and then he became really bad. I don't know what that's about. Either way, when you hit a certain peak, you will always be known to be able to hit that peak again, regardless of how bad you are doing later.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about Pokemon. It's not mechanically complicated because it's a turn-based game. So as long as you don't have like Alzheimer's, you can always come back to your original potential. So
I think Lejon has the skill to go undefeated. I also think he has. I think that's a ceiling, and also his floor, as we know, his DPL record is go winless. And he's planning to play, so I am expecting him to do well.
Yes. I mean, and he did play a lot last season, though, but he did go 2-4, so not exactly the greatest season of all time. But like you said, every season, every game, he's got that potential to really play up to what he has in the past. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. And then iPro, really, really good at Sun and Moon, and that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I mean, he went 5-3 last season. I think a couple seasons before he literally went like undefeated. I think like he's proven time and time again he could play. Besides like maybe Halu, he's one of the better Sun and Moon players that I've seen. So, anyways, moving on.
Halu's a cheater.
But yeah, I don't know. Ghosted or whatever. I still think Halu is like legit one of the better players I've ever seen. And despite all the controversy, and I used to be a good friend of his. We used to call for hours on Skype at the time in Discord. I mean,
that is true. We discovered Halu. Yeah, we discovered Halu.
The IECL discovered Halu. Shout out to the tag. IECL, man. What a brand. But yeah, no, Halu, he's a damn good player. I'm kind of unfortunate he's not playing this season, but I think he also might still be banned, so I'm not 100%. But let's move on to the players. We got Sebi at 16.5K. Interesting because
how did he do last season?
It can be good depending on how he does, but last season he did go 2-3. And I believe the season
I
before
think he
that
had 2
too.
bad seasons in a
The
row.
season before that too, I'm pretty sure he was also decently not amazing. And then I believe the season before he did really well. So another similar circumstance to his coach, where he's had a really good set of seasons, and then he's had a really low cover end of the seasons. So he's trying to get what he previously had. Like, just for example, he's 12-12 in Sword and Shield, so he's got a lot of samples to work with. And I mean, he's overall 12-14, so he's actually never won outside of Sword and Shield. But he's, again, a lot of those
Oh,
wins
that's
were
a crazy
earlier
stat.
on. A lot of those wins were earlier on, and then a lot of those losses were later on. So it just kind of
Yeah.
depends what kind of Sebi we're gonna get here. And if he's got fire in his gut to really try to perform well, then maybe he can really do something. And then we have 25K Jake, which is interesting because I actually don't think he's played like 3 seasons, maybe even more. But I'll say 3 seasons.
Hold
That's
on,
it's a comfortable
real
number.
quick. I
Yeah.
just want to say, Sebi will ultimately decide if he's an overpay or not. Um, I've had very little conversation with him, but from when I have conversated, he's kind of cool. That's all. That's all I want to say.
That's fair.
Regardless of how he ends up playing, and he almost. I remember I had a really close game with him week 1, like 2 seasons
Oh, I
ago
remember
in
that one.
DPL.
Yeah.
Came down to a 50-50. Uh, that was a cool battle. Um, and I think he should have won, but whatever. Regardless, I digress. Uh, he's a cool dude. Let's see how he plays. Jake, dude, 25K for Jake. I'm sorry. This is gonna be the first time I say this is almost definitely an overpay. And I don't not worth 25K. I don't think he's worth 25K to this team,
And why is that?
if that makes this is so right now, iPro Lejon are both like old heads, right? Sebi, probably more in tune with newer gens, but I don't fully know. We can also see the signups.
Yeah.
Where's Sebi on the
So
signup? Is he
something something
playing?
something to note about Jake. He's actually like 8-3 all time in Ultra Sun and Moon, so he's got a really like good stronghold record. And his overall record's 19-13. 9-8 in Auras respectively, and 2-2 in Scarlet and Violet. So he's performed like decently well. But again, it's been like a while since he's performed. He did do a Scarlet and Violet league though, so I mean he obviously played somewhat recently, probably at least 3 years ago. But we don't know how much Jake really has in tune with the current metagame. Obviously, he can go back
He
to an
didn't want to
older
be drafted
metagame.
for so much,
Yeah,
dude.
that too. But obviously, iPro and Lejon are like some of his good friends. They've known each other for like almost like 8 years, maybe 9 years at this point. So like they're always gonna go high for him. But and whether Jake wanted that or not isn't really out of it's kind of out of his control. But I
Hmm.
mean, again, if he's got the want to play, which it seems like he does, I don't know why you'd sign up otherwise. I think he definitely has the opportunity and the potential to really perform well. Although I think he's kind of restrained to doing like again Ultra Sun and Moon or maybe Auras. If he does a newer generation, it'll be very interesting because again his sample
I
size
don't
for
think he can.
Scarlet Violet was pretty low, and he's I don't know obviously about the Sword and Shield.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just looked into it. So both are captains, Sebi, Jake, and Harris. None of them look like they're going to be playing Scarlet and Violet according to their sign up applications.
Oh, okay.
Meaning, you probably don't know Scarlet and Violet that well. The tier we're going to be playing most. So their Scarlet and Violet has to be carried by like Zugubu, Vinny, Gorex, and Paddocks.
Which we're gonna get to later. But yes, you're right. Because again, the older players that they drafted aren't really players who play the newer generations; they're more for the older ones. So it creates a
Yeah,
very interesting complexity with your overall standings.
yeah, and it just scares me. That's why I'm saying I don't know if Jake is worth 25K. Like you would want 25K to spend on someone that's more familiar with today's game, uh like who? Let me pick a name.
I mean, I'll name one. They got Zugubu Royale, who was actually in the top of the leaderboard in Scarlet Violet last year. He did really well.
Oh,
So for 11K, it's a really good price. Honestly, in fact, it's kind of an underpay. I think he might have cancered at the end, which I think might have altered his value a little bit. But I mean, the guy could play, so I mean, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So I think they could try to make up their Scarlet Violet lack with that. But I mean, relying on Vinny, Paddox, and Gorex, no offense, they just haven't performed yet in DPL. So having that lack of understanding of the competition that really comes with this league is going to be something they have to adjust to pretty quickly. Not to mention, I don't know how good they are, especially considering their prices, how well they're going to perform. Like, especially in a tier where Scarlet Violet's could probably have a lot of good players who want to play the new metagame. You're getting these players paired up with, like, maybe like Shadow, for example, Glop, you know, Pyro, your Rye. You know, it's going to be very tough for them to try to win these games. Even Habita, for example. Like, let's say you get Gorks versus Habita. That's just an insane disparity matchup just off the rip. Just because you don't have a very good stronghold in a tier where the majority of your games are going to be played, like you said. So it's going to be a little tough where, yeah, you have a good stronghold in Auras and Ultra Sun and Moon, but not having it where you play over 50% of your games is going to be tough. So.
and one last concern I have with Jake is that I do hear sometimes Jake might freak out in one way or another in his games or after his games. And it's just like, how does that how does that affect LeBron's legacy? You know, how does that affect the team morale? Kind of. I
I
don't know.
personally probably think that's probably why he took a break. And I want to say, I know nothing about Jake, but I want to say he probably is like in a much better mental spot to really take losses a little better. But I get it. When you put in a lot of effort to this shit, it really can get to you. And it can
I
really
don't.
lower
You
your
know, I don't
morale.
even
So.
mean like taking loss as well. I'm also talking like, being nervous for the game because
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
because we
I
all
know
get
how
nervous.
that
We
feels.
all get nervous for DPL. I mean, this is like
Well, some
next.
people don't. Some people don't.
There's
We
times
can't
where
say we all get
yeah,
nervous.
obviously some games I'm more nervous than other ones, and the results show sometimes. But I mean, nervousness is good because, I mean, it just shows
It
that
means
you
you're
really care.
alive, Josh. It
Yeah,
means your blood is
it
pumping.
gets you that feeling of being alive, man, and it shows that you care. But obviously, people are like, why would I be nervous? I know exactly what to expect, and that's cold blooded and cool if you are like that, but not everybody has
Oh,
that.
you're so cool.
Not everybody has that dog in them. But in a game like Pokemon, you technically could be like, yeah, I know exactly what's gonna come, and I'm not worried about that. So, but that about sums up the team. So, this is the first team where we definitely
Pretty cool.
have a lot of concern. Just because soundly it might not be the best, but it's got a lot of players that I like. Like I've always liked Harris. I like Jake. I like
Yeah,
LeJon
before we
Rapro.
move on completely from this team,
Yeah, what do you got?
because it sounds like you're wrapping it up.
Yes.
Uh, even though we kind of just stopped at Jake, we
Oh,
didn't really.
Oh, I mean, we could discuss. I discuss Zugubu. I don't know anything about Vinny Paddox and Gorex, to be honest with you.
Okay,
If you got stuff
I'll
to
go
say
through
about
'em.
it, you can go on though.
Vinny, DGB admin. I've seen Vinny talk here and there. Cool guy. Paddocks, I actually don't know Paddocks. Gorix, I know a lot of people like Gorix, so I'm assuming Gorix is cool. He got a lot of goat emotes in the auction.
I did see that. Yeah.
Paddocks, sounds familiar, but I don't really know Paddocks. Zugubu, uh, I expect Zugubu to do well. Like maybe one game below 500 at worst. And then Harris, we didn't talk about Harris much at all at being their most expensive player. Um, I don't know what to expect. I think this is a lot of money for Harris.
Okay. Well, I
And
do want to mention he went 5-2 last season, so he finally had a good season that wasn't his very first one because that was his issue. So he might finally have his consistency back, which is kind of what's held him back for a while. But if he could do the same
okay,
performance at 5-2, that's great value.
five
That's
and two.
worth
I didn't know he did 5 and 2.
that's
Okay,
worth your value that he went for, my
it makes
opinion.
me feel a little better. I just remember that horrid season he had with teaming, being a captain with Kaz. I think.
Yes, I remember that pretty well.
I think that might have been what I'm thinking of. And it's just like
It was a couple in a
I
row
don't know.
too, though, so it might
That's why the
be
price tag scared me.
yeah.
But maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm.
worried for nothing on this. Okay, that made me feel a little better.
I'm glad because he should feel a little better. And he played two different leagues pretty well. Like he played 3 games of Ultra Sun and Moon and 4 games of Scarlet Violet. We only lost 1 game and both won. So he can play multiple things. So that might be what they rely on. So Harris actually, despite not putting Scarlet Violet, did really well there. He went 3-1 there last year. So maybe he'll do it again. Not 100% though.
Okay. Well, moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on to the Trick of Eye, coached by IA and Skyhorse. Another classic duo within the DPL community. I've actually played.
I want to
I've
start.
played under both of them too, and I believe Hunter has as well. So yeah, talk about them.
Oh wait, you've played under them?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did. Except they were both my. I think they were actually both drafted. That's how they actually got. I was in the season where they got to know each other, and the rest is history. Actually.
I love both of them. I think both are great and reliable captains. Um, they always have a top 4 team, in my opinion. Trigavai always seems to be a top 4 team. Um, uh, they're both good players. IA or I still don't know how to say that correctly. Um, has just like dominance as a player. Horse has just the funniest reputation of any player, I think. My favorite reputation to think about. Game 7, random crap, winning, lucking, but like still good. Like I don't get mad at the way Skyhorse wins.
No, Skyhorse is one of the more respected players in my opinion. Some people give him shit.
Truly a great
Yeah,
performance.
but the people who give him shit are kind of like losers, anyways. So I don't really like give it too much credit. Like from what I could tell, a lot of people like him, and me personally, he's like the smartest guy I've ever met because I think he's like a real life physician, physics person, not doctor, like a real life physics person. And I remember he was telling me how he had to do like a presentation towards these other physics like professors about some like solar radiation things that he was doing tests over.
Dude, Skyhorse is too smart for Pokemon.
Yeah, so he's
Skyhorse.
actually, but he actually said he hates that job and would rather be a beach bum. So it's a very interesting like dynamic he has. But he's very
It'd be a what?
a beach bum. Like he likes being on the beach and just like hanging out there all day long. Like that's what he would rather do than be in a
Man, what a
business and
happy
just
life.
doing like physics crap basically. But he's a very smart guy, very genuine too. He's an Aussie, which is kind of cool as well as a fact.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then I has had some really dominant performances. Again, last season was an anomaly. He went 1-5 last year. By far his worst performance by far. Really weird what
Wait,
happened.
you went 1-5?
Yeah, he went 1-5. It was like really bad. I remember it. But
I don't even believe that.
it's crazy, right? Because like again, this is a player who in the past has almost gone undefeated in Ultra Sun and Moon because that's the main tier he plays. But again, just last year he just did not play well for whatever reason, whether it was personal or just like had really bad luck, not the greatest team, not the best drafted teams. Like, there's multiple variables that go into it. But I mean, the brand new season, brand new players. Let's see what happens. So, got any more things to say before we move on to the roster?
No,
All right. So,
no, they're just goats.
yeah, speaking of goats, we got JCM Shadow with the first pick.
JCM Shadow!
Hunter, I think has a lot to say because you've teamed up with him multiple times now at this point. So
Has it? It's either been once or twice.
it's been twice.
I don't
I know.
remember.
I
just
it's been
remember.
twice because I know one of them was with the your championship winning team, and then you did it again twice with him where you were his player. So
Dude, wait. I had teamed with him on. Dude, what the frick? Why am I brain farting? Oh, someone's stupid. Shadow. I love Shadow. I love teaming with Shadow. Honestly, that's pretty much it. I don't have much more to say other than Shadow is a great teammate, great player, and I hope he does well.
he's got the Kenny profile picture from Attack on Titan too, so I always vibe with that. And I guess I forgot to mention, and also Hunter forgot to mention, but his only time winning DPL, I believe your only time winning DPL, was with L5 being his coach for the Tang gang. So good vibes with the same coach again this season for him. Because very similar to me last season,
Hey,
I was
hey.
I was under Zing's coaching tutelage, and he was my first ever coach when I first started DPL. So sometimes that
Can we
does
be clear
matter.
on something?
Yeah.
Can we be clear on something? He was not my coach.
He was a player. Yeah, it was Vino and Max that were the coaches, but L5 may
Yes.
as well have been a coach of the way he directed y'all. So yeah.
Hello? No. Hold on, pause. I'm not gonna let you disrespect the other two.
Hey, no,
Vino and Max.
I love Max. You know this, and I have a lot of respect for Vino too. Even
F
though,
you, Josh.
hey,
F you.
hey, I'm just saying though. I know for sure L5, especially with the lab stuff that he would do with y'all in your prep. I know for sure he put in massive work as if he was a coach. So yeah, kind of a slip of the tongue. Might have also been like a Freudian slip, if you will. But yeah, L5 has good vibes of Hunter, is what I'm saying, and I think there's a chance he could bring it back.
But continue.
Okay, next we have Mountai is what I'll call him. I don't know anything about this guy. I actually don't think he's ever performed in DPO. Fact check me if
He
I'm
has.
wrong.
He has.
Was he there last season?
He played last season. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he did really. He went 3-1. He played in 4 games, so I don't know if he was like a
Yeah.
bench player and only played 4 games for that reason. But yeah, he did pretty well in all the games he played. He probably has other seasons and leagues that he's done that he's also done well in because he went for over 20K. So
Yeah, that's a lot to go for when you go 3-1 as a 5K player in one season.
is that what he
The
was
season
last year?
before.
Was he 5K?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so to go from 5K to 21K is pretty, like, ludicrous in a good way, obviously. So I imagine he has some previous experience that was also really good to fetch this price. But, I mean, he's performed really well recently in DPL. I don't know why he can't do it again. He's got really good coaches to do it. So it's a decent price. I just don't know enough about him to, like, really say, oh, yeah, 21K is great. But I have no reason to say it isn't, if that makes sense.
I'm with you. I'm with you on all that. Agree.
Next we have
Sablo.
Sablo, true OG in the
Great
game.
player.
Oh my god, if I could kiss a man, it would be Sablo, bro. And I think we're both from Texas. Sablo.
Both? You mean all three of us?
All three of us are from Texas. Yeah, I don't know where exactly, but Sablo lives in Texas somewhere.
Hey, I hope. I love his team logo for draft leagues.
Oh,
The Houston
the Houston
Sableyes.
Sableyes, yeah. And you're the Texan Trappers, which is also Sableyes. So yeah, that's always pretty funny.
No, it's a why not.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You don't have.
Josh is a little.
You used to have a Sableye, though. I thought as a team.
Nope.
Never. It was always
Nope.
it was always the Texan Trappers of why not. Okay.
Always Texan Trappers.
Okay. But yeah, Sablo. Very similarly, he's had some great seasons, particularly in the very beginning of his DPO career, and then he had like a pretty rough stretch for a while. I know that one season I did team with him, it was really bad for him. This was like season 3, I think. So I don't remember the exact record, but last season he went 4-3, slightly above 500. That's kind of all you can hope for. But he does always fetch a pretty high price, so you're always kind of gambling on whether or not he's going to give you 5+ wins or 3 or 4. And those wins make such a difference at the end of the season. So when you're spending good money on players, you want to make sure you're getting good value. 16.5K for Sablo, I actually think is perfect, to be honest with you. Considering the experience he has in his belt and the potential to give you really good games, kind of no matter what happens, I feel like it'll fetch its value unless he goes like 1-5, 1-6, which again I doubt. He's a little too good and a little too experienced to like fall to such a thing unless he were to get really unlucky. So I actually think that's a great value pick. And then oh my god, next pick we have the Return of the King LOQP. Shouts to the bars.
Now, if I could kiss a man,
Oh, dude,
this would be that man.
Dude, he's a good looking man. Whew, yeah, and
Dude,
I guess
LQP.
yeah,
Oh, I want to talk about LQP first.
yeah. You go on first. Yeah. You got good experience with this guy that you might want to talk
Dude,
about.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay, without like rambling for forever, LQP being his teammate for like such a long.
The Kieran black below the waist down. I remember that was the classic that you teamed up with him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Undefeated team we were, and him, me, and other people, Robert Panda, if you remember.
Oh, of course I remember Robert Panda. Yeah. Was
we
was
were
Darkrai already with
always
y'all? Was Darkrai with you already?
Huh?
Was Darkrai already with you guys?
Darkrai wasn't a player.
He wasn't around. I swear him and LQP played together, but
I don't know. He wasn't on the team. He was like in the server.
That's what
anyway,
it was. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
But we were like, just in call team building. It was one of my favorite experiences in team tours. Great captain. I really hope he performs better than 16K. But he's worth every penny.
He's worth every penny. If he puts in anywhere near the same effort he did back when he was around,
and he won't. I don't think it's fair to say that because I don't think he will.
Yeah.
Back then he was a team captain at his peak, and he was trying to go undefeated.
And he did. He pulled off everything he wanted.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. A lot of that credit goes to him. So I don't think saying he has to put in the same amount of effort as before is ridiculous.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying anywhere near to the same level of effort that he was able to put in, it's going to be worth every penny, like you said. So
I think he's worth every penny regardless of how much effort he puts in. He can go 0-7 and be inactive.
I don't care. He's earned it. He's earned it is what you're saying.
He's earned it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I totally agree. He's like legit probably the coolest guy I've ever met in the community. I love LQP.
And one of the funniest, dude.
Yeah. No, dude, the dude's hilarious. I remember him telling me some like just crazy stuff, bro.
Crazy. Dude, if you were in those calls back in the day.
I was in a couple of them when my season ended. Because my team was not very good, if you remember. So.
We would be team prepping in call, and he's in bed with some chick.
Really?
In call,
no way.
Team prepping with us. It's like, bro, this is crazy.
God. No, the dude was awesome, dude. I just remember him always going on like Tinder, just like trying to meet up with other girls, dude. And then,
well, we'll see if his play is still up to par with players nowadays.
Yeah. And I guess just for reference, the last time he played, I believe, was actually 2020 in the Clash of Kings team tournament, which is very similar to DPL. And for reference, after that season, he said he was going to retire from the game because he was spending basically every waking moment he had to ensure success for his team, which is exactly what they did. They went undefeated, won the championship, the whole 9 yards, right? So he got his well-deserved break, and he comes back basically 4 years later, trying to, I guess, rekindle his passion for the game, but just as a player instead of a coach, because the level of work is just so different that you can't even comprehend it and do it well. Obviously, you could be a coach and be terrible, and you could say, well, I was a coach, but that doesn't mean much. But to do it and have the success he did is unbelievable. So, like you said, he deserves every single bit of respect there is. So, yeah, that 16K value, despite not playing for 4 years, absolutely justified. So, anyways, we have ASDF, ASDF, whatever you want to call him, 10K. I believe he played last season, right? No, he didn't play last season, actually.
I don't remember, yeah. I don't remember seeing him play last season.
I don't know if he's ever played in DPL. He's played before, right?
Dude, don't you have the doc?
He's never played in DPL, ever.
Oh, interesting.
I've seen him. It must just be DGBA that I've seen him in, because I've seen him around playing games.
Yeah, and you've definitely seen him in DGBA. We literally just saw him play a game.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And he won. He's now in the semifinals. So, yeah, seems like a pretty decent player. 10K obviously is nothing to scoff at. So
no, I think 10K is perfect for him.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I'll take Hunter's word for it.
No, all I know is he is, I think, the one of the better name to price, if that makes sense.
Okay. Nah.
He's very 10K because he has the ability. He just hasn't proven he has the ability in DPL. So this is his season, and I think he can perform.
Yeah, and if he could perform for 10K, that's pretty good value. And then we have Greggy later for 5K, who he's obviously a well-respected mod of the DPL, so he'll always have that going for him.
He's just a bench warmer, though, right?
Yeah, he barely plays, and I don't know how much he actually wants to play this season, but he did sign up, so maybe he'll
sign up.
Maybe he'll play like 1 or 2 games. Maybe he'll play even more.
Maybe he'll be the GOAT.
Maybe
Who knows?
Will be. Yeah, But it's been a while since he's really put in the effort towards Pokemon. So I would love if he did it. Greg knows just as much as he does how much I like him, how much I have respect for him because he was in my team when I first started playing DPL, and he helped me a shit ton, and he was good there too. So, yeah. And then last player we have TJ, 5K TJ. He performs decently well in DPL. I personally don't think he's that amazing though. In 5K shows, so it's actually not a bad price to get somebody with a lot of experience in their belt for 5K. If they can go for 500, or if they can go 500, great. If they don't, well, you spent 5K on them. Hopefully, your better value players can carry the bar. But TJ has that potential to play decently well, always be in contention for games, and if you can be in contention and you have the right tools in your belt, then just let the rest happen. But overall, they got a fucking great team. It's like they got a
I'll
great
say
fucking team. Yeah.
on TJ, I'll say this. I think TJ is almost always worth at the bare minimum of 5K. Okay? And even if he goes 0-7 or whatever, like that doesn't matter because he has a lot of experience. He knows how to play. He can mock. He can help prep. And I think that alone is worth 5K. And the fact that he can win games, even if like he may struggle in DPL as a proven fact, like that is fact, right?
Yeah, he is 9 and
Even
19
if he does
overall.
struggle, he can
Just for
still play
reference.
games and he
Yeah.
can still win games. So I personally think this is maybe the best 5K on the board of all the 5Ks drafted.
No, I think the Flying Bird's the best one.
Well,
so yeah, I
no.
can't agree with you personally.
I think third best. Third best.
Okay. All right.
5K behind Burger and Scrappy.
Yeah, Burger for 5K is really good. Yeah, I emphasized that earlier, but yeah, both of those 5Ks are pretty good. But you got anything else to add about the Trick of Eye?
Cool team. We'll rank them all later, but I have them in my top 4.
Yeah, and something I do want to mention, because people have already noted it, but we did mention how Greg doesn't play a lot. There's only 9 players in that team, so if Greg just chooses not to play, everybody left has to play. They have no choice in the matter. So again, we'll see if Greg is active. I hope he is. Like I said,
Probably won't.
but if he's not,
Well,
then
who knows? Who knows?
everybody has to play. And obviously, if you sign up for this, you should want to play every week. But it can be really, really tough mentally when every week you're trying to help everybody for 8 weeks straight. Obviously, there's a break in the middle, but still. But anyways, moving on, I believe.
Moving on. Do you want me to talk about them first? Give you a second to think about what you want to say?
Yeah, as y'all can see on the screen, we got the band
All right.
chasers.
It's
and
the band chasers.
my name might or might not be
Josh's.
on there. So yeah, Hunter, you can take it
Huh?
away to start.
Josh's very own team. Let's start it off with the 2 captains, Zing and I'll go through your whole team and then I'll let you go through it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so Zing and 100p. I think it's fair to say that they are the best captain duo by skill as a pair. You know, I think that is fair to say. Both of them have performed at very high levels, very impressive. I think both are also, man, I don't want to toot their horns or anything, but I also think both of them are really funny, and I think they're both even funnier when they're talking to each other and like clowning on each other. So yeah, cool captain pair. Glop, we have at 20K. Last season he went for like 8K.
8.5.
I don't really know.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know why like he went for 8K last season. Maybe some scheduling issues or something. Or maybe he's just been going for that little for a while now, and then he finally got picked up for even more. Glop has been performing well, has a history of performing well, so it makes sense that he goes for 20K here. And I don't think this is an overpay or an underpay. I think this is fine, to be honest. Then there's Josh. He thought he was gonna go for like 9K before. That's what he told me before the auction. I was like, bro, You are tripping. 9K? Mr. tied for second best record last season.
Yeah.
Should have been ORAS MVP. Like, come on now.
Nah, let's be. Rob Jr. deserved it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really thought this was finally gonna be the season I got it though, because I've been doing this shit for a long time, man. But it wasn't meant to be. So I don't have too much like malice over it anymore. But at the time, I was really annoyed that I didn't win it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But yeah, Josh, obviously, he's in the call right now with me, so I can't say what I really want to say, right? Like
No,
that
tell
he's
me.
asked or
Tell me.
anything.
Tell me everything you got in your mind, bro.
I
I'd love
can't
to
say
hear
how
it.
bad he is, how
Oh,
trash he is at
yeah.
the game, how I smoke him in every single battle we've ever played, how I make all his teams, how I ghost him for every game he plays.
I save all my random replays if you want to check me smoking them, by the way.
Every win he has, I ghosted him in. Every loss is because I was busy. That's a fact.
Yeah, you can
I just
ban
want to let that
you can ban me DPL mods. Blue, Dougal, if you're listening to this, yeah, it's 100% fact. You can ban me after this video is posted.
No, Josh, I think is maybe I would say top 3 ORAS player. Arguably one, but I might be biased. Soggy, Doggy, Boggy, Roggy, Sage, Doggy, 19K. Don't know too much other than a recent battle I saw, and it wasn't a pretty battle, but 19K. There's a reason Soggy Boggy is expected to do well at a 19K price. I've never seen this person talk in chat or anything. I am just hoping that this is not one of those players that go for a lot of money and have a terrible season, because that just sucks to happen to you. Okay, again, X-Ray that had a season like that, right? There's players that happens to all the time, where that they get drafted, expected to do well, and then they crap the bed. Finchinator, a great example, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is a good one.
So yeah, I hope that is not the case here. And not the reason I say this specifically for Soggy is just because of the one game I saw recently that wasn't a great performance, but obviously, this applies to everyone that is new to this season, right? Or even not new, like Sebi, Jake. Lax, 20K. All I know is the Lax has like an amazing season going on in DGBA right now. And that's all I think Lax is a Smogon player as well, maybe SPL. I don't know.
From what I can tell
That
on
might
our
be
team
all
server, he's very active in Smogon. He was like talking about it with some of our other teammates.
That makes sense. Well, we'll see. I think this is a really good player though, from what I can tell. Castelia, I don't know. I really don't know Castelia at all. I think they're in Quick Feet.
Yes, they are.
Is that?
Yes, they are in Quick Feet. I don't know how well they're doing. You can check later if you want, but I know they're in Quick Feet.
Hold on, I have it right here. Yep, they are undefeated, 8-0 plus 28 differential.
All right, we got ourselves a hell of a player here, man. Woo!
Oh wow! Surprise! And okay, so 7K not bad then. I think it is Quick Feet, but we'll see how this translates. Max, man, I only have good things to say about Max, and I hope Max can perform well and overcome any possible anxiety he might have over playing again. Playing his battles. That's it. Cool guy. Dougal, man, I don't really know much about Dougal, to be honest with you. All I know is that he's a good friend of L5 and Money Guy and Blue, and that he's been around since season 1, and what else? Do you know anything else about Dougal? That's all I pretty much know.
He
And
talks a
he's a
lot.
DGB or DPL landman.
I'm in the Hive server with him, and he loves to maul about the New York Yankees and other New York sports teams in the sports server, and
Okay.
we talk often there.
He sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
great. I love talking to Dougal, and I think he respects me. I respect Dougal too. I never really spoken
Yeah.
from much
But
either though, so it'll be interesting to talk to him this season.
I do think this is again another top 4 team. Um, very. I think I hope the fact that 8 out of the 9 players on this team have to play every week. I hope that fact doesn't like set them off a little throughout the weeks. Same thing for my team, you know.
Same thing for a lot of teams we've gone over. Actually, the only exception so far has just been the Nature's Madmen. Actually,
Yeah,
they got 10 players. Yeah.
but I'll let you talk about your own team now.
All right, so this is interesting. So we'll start off with the top player, Glop. We've actually been teammates now for this will be 3 seasons in a row now. We were teammates last season. We lit it up. We won the championship for our team. You put in a lot of work. He went 5-2 last season in Sword and Shield. He used his Tapu Koko Kartana team that just like smoked everybody. And in my opinion, based off all the people I spoke with, like I've had long drawn out conversations with Zazo, Aki, Glop, like all those guys over my span of a lifetime in the community. And I think Glop is like by far one of the more gifted players I've ever seen in the format. And his level of like knowledge and macro within the game itself and prep is just like
Bro,
beyond next level.
Pause. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but did you just say macro?
Yeah,
Did you just use a League of Legends term?
macro can be used for any sort of game that involves any sort of like minor.
I don't. I can't believe you, Josh. Continue.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is I think Glop is probably one of the better players in the entire format. So getting him for 20K, in my opinion, is a steal. He was a little worried he wouldn't go for much, but I mean, he deserves every penny that he's going to get here. I promise you. There's obviously myself for 16.5K. Last year, I went for 16K. So going 5-2 in Auras last year gave me a 0.5 value raise. I'll take it. I thought I was going to go for less because a lot of players are a little iffy about my performance since I've had really bad seasons before. It's totally understandable. But, you know, I want to believe I get better and better every season. And I feel like I'm playing my best Pokemon right now. So I'm ready to show out again. I want to perform a little better in playoffs. I got my first playoff victory last season. Shouts to that. But then lost the very next one because I think I got Skullburn. What if one other was? But I mean that was kind of a shaky game, but it's fine. Let's go over the rest of our team. We got Saki Doggy Sage. They performed really well in the DGBA regular season. I think they were like the number 3 or 4 seed overall. Like they've been pretty good. I think they're a pretty good sound player from what I've seen. I don't know too much about them besides that though, and they have yet to perform a DPL. So this will be a brand new clean slate for them. But at the very least, they do seem like a sound player. And despite what Hunter was forced to see within the horrors of their recent game, I think with enough prep within our captains and ourselves, we could definitely make sure they have a pretty good pilot team to go with and just have the rest of their skill do the rest of the talking. Then we have Lax, who I have personally been completely shafted by in DGBA. I think he's a really good player. Brought some really cool sets against me. And, I mean, he just seemed to be a very understanding, very sound player with his team and his prep. So to have him on my team, not to mention all the experience he has with Smogon, and he seems to be really good friends with Genius X, as is Drew Smogon and 100p. I think he's going to be a really good asset. And I was really a fan of him when I spoke with him in like just the general team chat when I lost to him. So just having him as a teammate now is going to be even better. Afterwards, we have Castilia. Apparently, they're undefeated in the lower division within DGBA. That's awesome. I know nothing about them besides that. I do know they're pretty active. So hopefully that activity level will continue to help our team. And, I mean, for 7K, it seems like it was a steal. But, again, they don't have any experience in DPL, I mean. So, again, a complete wild card as to how they're going to do. But if they can provide, like, a pretty good record, 500 or better, that's incredible value. And then next, we have Max, and I'll take it really personal and real. I think Max took what I said about the Hungry Men back in the day a little personally, and I think I've talked about it before in the past. I never meant any sort of like negative like verbiage and like personal attacks towards Max as a captain for that team. It's just that team was truly dysfunctional, and I wanted to be real about it. And I think he took it a little too much to heart because he barely talks to me anymore. But I really do think Max is like a really good friend of mine. I've always loved him. We've talked about like our RPGs in the past. We both love Octopath Traveler. Fucking love video game music. So again, will always be a big fan of
Dude,
mine. I'll always
all
be a good
games,
friend of his.
Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, dude.
Octopath Traveler is a crazy one to bond
Yeah.
over.
Oh, yeah, dude. We both love Octopath Traveler. We were both so hyped for when the second one came out. We both like gushed about the soundtrack. Like, no, like, I. And then we've talked about other games like Persona, and obviously there's been other games that we talked about. So
Yeah,
again,
you talk about Persona a little too much, man. I don't know about
only when other people talk about it. But
it.
yeah, Max, wonderful person. Obviously, he's had a little bit of issues with his like taking battles like not too seriously, but just getting a little too much in his own head. But he did go 2-2 in Ultra Sun and Moon last season. That's a pretty decent record, I would say. Going 500, I think, will always be decent. And he has been grinding in Ultra Sun and Moon OU still to this day. So a lot of knowledge in that tier. I think he can continue to do really well. He's got a really great captain core. He doesn't have the stress of being a captain, so I really think he's going to do well. Then we got Dougal. He's actually, I think, like 5-6 overall in his DPL career, so not terrible.
Oh,
Dougal is an admin though for DPL, so a lot of admiration and respect for him. Really big, quote unquote, New York sports fan, but it's really just him molding over the Yankees all the time and the New York Giants. But hey, I wouldn't want it any other way. If I was a New York sports fan, I'd be the exact same way. So I love it, man. And that's for my captain core. Genius X, again, I kind of mentioned before, I teamed up with him in my first ever season of DPL. We had good vibes there. Did really well. Almost made it to the finals, but got a little unlucky, and we didn't end up making it. But then he drafted me last season as a coach with Glop, obviously. Brought the good vibes again. We brought on a championship. It was the first one of Zing's career, and we were just so happy. I was so happy to do it for him as a player because again, I was under his tutelage when he was my coach in season 2. So to run it back and to run the same success was just truly like an awesome experience. Like one of the better draft experiences I've ever had. So having it potentially come back again with Glop again is awesome. And I get that you want to try to meet new people in this, but having like the same players that you really bond really well with, again to try to assert dominance is like what it's all about in my opinion. So I'm happy to be within them. I don't know too much about Craig. I actually just got off with him like in the Discord call with Glop. He seems like a really funny guy. It's really funny and interesting to hear his thoughts on stuff because he's truly like a genius of the game in my opinion. So it's interesting to hear his thoughts over specific Pokemon and such. And I always like to converse with people that I think are really like well in tune with the subject they're talking about. And in this case, I think 100p is just that guy with Pokemon. So I think our team is one of the better ones out there. We do have a couple of question marks. We don't have a lot of players. We've had players with somewhat lack of activity like Max in the past, but if Max is able to put in that effort and play like almost every week, then that will be good for us. But that's about all I have to say. Unless you have more.
one last thing. It's a message to 100p. I am gonna smoke you in DGBA playoffs. Okay? You're gonna regret ever being the 1 seed because you have to face the incredible 8 seed. That is a uh is a promising threat. Boom. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, that is
Huh?
that's a fair statement.
That's a crazy statement.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next team, the Legion of Boom, coached by
Legion of Boom.
Toxic and Vess.
Taking the
Seattle
name straight out of the
Seahawks.
NFL.
Yeah, straight out of the Seattle Seahawks. The Legion of Boom, man.
You know what? I'm a Seahawks hater. I hate the Seahawks. So
Yeah.
already kind of mad at this name,
Ooh, I
this team.
never thought about it that way. Yeah.
What? Anyways, Toxic and Vess. They were my captains last season, so I guess I should comment on them first.
Yeah. What do you got to
Uh,
say?
yeah. Honestly, they were cool. Like they were good captains to their people, right? Because uh, lots of people see them kind of like almost like villains, especially Vess. And so people as a result kind of don't like Vess. But it's like if he's your captain, he's a good captain to you. Like really good. Like I was surprised, dude. I was pleasantly surprised. Same thing with Ethan with Toxic. Um it was like wow, I didn't realize how cool this would be when they picked me up last season. So I expect similar results with or similar kind of feelings with their players this season, assuming nothing changes with them. But yeah, if you want to comment on them.
Yeah, they do definitely carry that villain title with them. Especially like I feel Toxic recently has had that villain title than Vess, but I have a lot of respect for both of them. Vess has been around a little longer than Toxic. Toxic's a more recent player. He came out around Gen 8, so he's been around for a few years only. But not Toxic. Vesuvius has been around since I got here, and he has performed well time and time again. But like anybody else, he's had a couple down seasons recently. But recently he was in the top of the Auras board with me actually at 5-2, and I believe
True.
and I was one of his losses actually, despite the fact that it was a foul play crit, but it would have ended up being a 50-50 that game. But despite that, the dude's good and he can really perform. And he's a hell of a player. He seems like a really good captain, despite the fact that he might like heavily like talk trash to other people. He doesn't really mean it. I think honestly, like at the end of the day, he's just a very competitive.
He might mean it, but
he's a very competitive person.
Yeah,
and I live for that. I love that level of like competitive like spirit within people. Like, so I really don't mind it. Even if it was directed towards me, saying I'm trash, like, it's fine. Like, like, it gives me more motivation to try to really show out and be like, yeah, like, what now, bitch? Like, I won. But I like them both. And I think Vess was my captain. If not, I've teamed up with him. And I was a player under Toxic as well. And I got nothing but respect for Toxic as a coach. Extremely, very similar to Glock, very skilled. And just knowledge and all that stuff.
You probably teamed with Vess, right? In like ZFG.
ZFG, he was not my team.
Oh, well,
ZFG was with y'all. That was you guys. He was not on my team. That was ZFG.
Yeah. Okay. No, I kind of assumed he was on your team too for some reason.
He was on the team that had, I believe, John W. This was a while ago, and I did really poor. Like they didn't start me after mids. I was that bad, so it was a while ago. But I don't think I performed or had been with Vess in any other fast except as an opponent. So, yeah. But Toxic, I have pretty good experience with.
Yeah. Dude, remember? Well, I think we were one of his first team tour experiences on Cowboy VMs.
Oh, that's where he first got his experience. That's right. Yeah, we found him. We got his start, and he did really well.
Okay, I don't think we can say we found him. I will. What we can say is apologize.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Anybody who was part of the Cowboy BHM experience, yeah, that you guys deserve some like financial compensation. That was really bad of us, man. We were just not there. I remember the last 2 or 3 weeks we didn't submit rosters, so people who were like on vacation were forcefully being played.
Dude, no, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah,
it's too embarrassing.
It's pretty bad. This is why we don't coach, guys. Otherwise, we'd probably be coaches right now. But whatever. Let's move on to the players. We got Theo at 21K. I think it's a pretty good price.
He usually goes around for this price, right? And it's always like fair. Like it always pays itself.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. He's had some years where he's done really well. I don't think he's ever had a bad year. Maybe just like average sometimes, but
consistency.
But he's always been consistently getting
consistency
wins.
Is so important.
Yeah. But yeah, his overall record. I'm gonna try to find out. Let's see. Is it Theodore Manny's his name, right? Is it Theodore Manny? I think it is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's 17-11 all time. 8-4 in Sword and Shield, 9-7 in Ultra Sun and Moon. So yeah, just always having more wins than losses for the most part. Yes, he gets some losses from time to time, but a very sound player. So I think at 21K, it's a pretty good price.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And there are a few screenshots that float around of me commenting on one of my matchups with Theo. I just want to say um, that they are fake.
Did you lose that game? Do you remember?
Dude, dude, the screenshots are fake. That's all you need to know, okay?
Okay.
Moving on. Undead.
Yeah,
Wow, Undead.
I actually I have something to say because Undead was my teammate last season, and
Okay, say it.
yeah, Undead is truly an example of somebody who has truly put in a massive amount of work since he was a meme pick. But now, like, he's taken pretty seriously. Like, this guy is no joke. He puts in a tremendous amount of effort every week, hours upon hours upon hours of work, and he's always helping other people. He's always putting tremendous thought in towards his team matchup. And I guess his issue mainly was not activity or prep, but just like actual what's the word I'm looking for? Not skill. Wow, there's a better word for this.
Battle ability? Like, what do you...
Um like when you're trying to do something successfully. What's the word I'm looking for, bro?
What?
What I'm trying to say is his level of execution in the battle. It was sometimes lackluster, but he's really find out. He's really been working on that variable of his, and he's been a really consistent battler. And I could confidently say that Undead was a big reason why we won the championship last season. So the guy
Ooh,
deserves every penny, is what I'm saying. I think he's actually a better than a 15K player. He's a 20K player, in my opinion. And I mean that legitimately. Undead deserves every bit of respect. He's no longer a fucking joke. And I really hope people really take my word seriously. Because
I will say
I don't know if people
I've
think
never
that way. So,
I've never teamed with him. I've never really communicated with him like at all.
yeah.
Like everything I've ever seen is just people making fun of Undead and making him into a meme. So that's all I have on
Yeah,
him.
and I know because that's what a lot of people probably see if they don't know him personally. But again, like he's moved well beyond a meme. Because I mean, most people like clown at him for the "We Are the Champion" stuff when they should have won the championship and then ended up getting reverse swept. But the dude is a real player, and he actually puts in so much effort. And it's just the dude is really talented. And even if when he wasn't so talented, he put in so much effort to like really work on his skill. So like truly an example, besides another person we'll go over later on, of somebody who I really think has really honed in their skills since the beginning. So again, I really do think he's a 20K player. So 15.5K is really good value for this guy. And I think Toxic and Vez are a really good captain pairing for somebody like this. So those are my thoughts. Next, we got Professor Chipboard. Slight underpay in my opinion because the guy has proven to be a really great, consistent player in Oraz, a tier that not a lot of people like to play because of just how quirky it is. And Chipboard has won playoff games in that division multiple times. So that alone makes you a 10K player plus, in my opinion. So I think 7.5 is a pretty good price. What do you think?
I will say, Chipboard did say in his application that he is going to be near dead in activity.
So he's really just
Like
gonna be
pretty much dead.
like he's just playing. That's about it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gathering.
I did not know
So
that.
take
Yeah.
take that as you will. That's probably why he went so low.
I see.
And I'm sure captains like DM'd him and were like, "Hey, what does this mean?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna help prep anyone. I'm not even gonna prep my own teams." That's probably something like that, right?
Probably. He might chime into his own build and be like, "Hey, I worked on this. Give me some thoughts," and then he'll come back
Skill-wise,
on
though,
Sunday. Yeah.
yeah, you're right though. Skill-wise, he has proven to be a good battler and can win games.
Yeah.
So
I mean, his
I'm,
record in
I'm
Auras
myself
is
am
9-11, but I know for he's won playoff games, and I think that's a really big variable that I think matters. So, like, not amazing, like pretty much almost 500, just slightly below 500 overall in his regular season career in Auras, but. Again, when you can really perform when it matters for your team, having that massive amount of games under your belt, I think that provides at least 10K value. But if he's going to be dead, he can't really provide that value. He can only provide just his skill, which, let's be real, hasn't been amazing, but it hasn't been bad either. So, in that case, 7.5K, it's a good price in my opinion. Pretty fair.
Mm-hmm. And then we got
Ooh, we got
Amel.
that Hacker, actually. We got Hacker at 6K.
Oh, dude,
Talk,
I'm like blind as a bat.
talk
Whoops.
about a fall from grace. And I mean this kindly, because I do like Hacker. But for reference, he went for like 20K plus last season. I could actually probably figure this out. Let's see. Hacker, he was a coach last season. We don't know what he would have went for, but I think the season before that he went for a lot. Was that what it was? Do you know?
25, 28K, something
So
in that area.
season 6 it would have been he got drafted for 25 and a half. But yeah, he's been going for a lot ever since his first season where he had a really good breakout year where I think he only lost like one game and won like 6 or 7-1. But last couple seasons hasn't been so hot, so he went from like a really good value of 25K to a 6K player barely above the minimum bet. So, or minimum bid, I meant to say. So, yeah, I'm sure he's got a chip on his shoulder to be like, hey, I could play. Like, let me show you what I got. He's still a pretty good player in his own right. He's in like the highest division in DGBA, so he's no slouch still. But I mean, he definitely hasn't lived up to the potential that he once showed, and I'm sure he wants to show it. And I've teamed up with him. He's a pretty good prepper. He just, for some reason, he just does not execute well in the games. That really is his biggest issue. Very similar to what Undead kind of was back in the day. But Hacker now is kind of going through that where he is pretty good and sound in his prep and his like knowledge of like matchups, but just doesn't play well when it matters. So if he can work on that, he's gonna be good. If he
I will say
he's gonna be bad. That's my thoughts.
something that might have contributed to him only having or only being going for 6K is in his sign up. He said, "Do not pick for activity, only sun and moon, with me ideally having a good amount of control on one of the drafts." And then he said, "I won't really be there to help teammates because I'll be focusing on my games. Won't be super sweaty for my games either, but I'm okay with playing weekly."
Also, he went really deep into his like thoughts about his availability then. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he's just saying like, "Hey, I'm not really going to try hard."
Yeah,
And
essentially.
so and I'm not going to be active. And I imagine activity is a big thing that people like Tacker for previously.
Yeah, because he was always a very active individual with other people's prep. So yeah, him not being that anymore, definitely a little shaky. But I mean,
But that's why he went for 6K, which I still think isn't terrible.
it's not. He's got a lot of experience. He's proven he could win games. We'll see how much he can win. That's really all it comes down to.
Amel, I think, is also a really cool dude. 13K, worth it, I think.
Yeah, if I'm not
Good
mistaken,
player.
Amel's first start was with that French team, right? If I'm not mistaken, that was
What team?
Remember the French team from DPL season? It was season 3 or season 2?
I think it was season 3 because I think it was the first season I played.
Yeah, I think that was where he got his start was with the French team, and he's really shined since then. And he's like really the only player from that team that is still around because it was like a bunch of nobodies. But yeah, I love Imel. I've said this in our Party Eruption show. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great player.
Dude.
Didn't really show it last season. Let's be real. He went like 1-4, I think. But he is a good player, very sound player, and he's a good guy. So yeah.
Do you watch his weekly videos on YouTube?
I don't. I'm not
you
subscribed
know?
to Imel, unfortunately.
He has 1,000 subscribers, dude. How are you not subscribed? Come on,
Dude,
man.
he was invited personally by Pokemon himself. He must be. He's got notoriety. So
Hey, tell Pokemon to invite me, bro. I got a YouTube channel too.
yeah, bro. Yeah, you got no capture card or anything. So I don't know.
Man, he don't know that, right?
He doesn't know that. You can pretend he got the money for
No
one.
one knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Imel too. Imel. I thought it was Amel.
It doesn't really matter. But yeah.
Doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good player.
Bad season
this
last
is a
season.
player.
We'll see what he does this season. Those are my
Yeah,
thoughts.
this is
truly.
a player I'm always okay with relying on at a weekly basis. I don't have much more to say. Let's go to Bobbert.
Yeah. Bobbert went for 19K. Pretty hefty price, but he has played in DPL previously. He's won games. Last season he went 5-2 actually. So he didn't just play, he did really, really well in Ultra Sun and Moon. So and I played him
Really?
I played him in DGBA this season as well. He beat me pretty
You got your
soundly.
butt kicked.
Yeah, so he's kind of no joke. He's a player that's also, I would say, drastically improved since the start of his first season in DPL. In fact, I think he was a mids pickup. I think if
This
he
guy is the real deal. The real
Bobber
deal.
is good. So yeah, 19K for someone who plays in Sun and Moon, which is kind of a tier that is really really quirky to really be good at. That's a really good pickup in my opinion. So yeah.
Corky cork. Yeah, I don't know much about Bobbert, so I don't really have much I can say, to be honest with you, other than, he has proven he has performed, so I don't think 19K is an overpay whatsoever. I
No,
think this is
I think that's actually a great value. This team has had really good, great
now
value picks actually so far. I want to note that.
now this next person is someone I do know a lot about. I
Yes. Ooh.
love Slick. Um, I think 11K is an underpay. Uh, I think Slick is better than 11K. I think Slick, you need to prove it, Slick. Prove it. Prove it that you are worth 30K, please, please, for me. Yeah, I don't really have much to say.
So
Cool dude,
the issue with
and
Slick
can
is
battle.
he doesn't have the best record. He's 3-6 all time. So even when he does play,
Okay, I don't care. I don't care about his
he
record.
doesn't play
Shut
very
up.
often
Shut
too.
up.
So I
Shut
don't know
up.
if it's just like people don't give him the trust to play or activity because I don't think it's activity. The dude's kind of around, so he just hasn't really been given the opportunity to really play a full season. And maybe this will be the season because there's not too many players on the team. I think, or does no? Actually, do they have 10? Yeah, they have 10 players actually. But
They have 10, so
yeah,
they two people are going to be sitting for them.
yeah. Speaking of sitting, last player is Phil. 7K. The dude's like the definition of a wild card. He brings the craziest sets I've ever seen. He has beat some really good players with these crazy sets, but he's also completely embarrassed himself with some of these sets. But that's kind of like the charm behind Phil for some of these coaches. You just never know what you're going to get from him. And as an opponent, it's kind of terrifying not knowing what you're going to get. So, um, and
Yeah, I mean, the one
he's
thing
got a
he'll always be
positive
known
he's got a
for,
positive record too, 11-9. So not a bad player.
the one thing he'll always be known for is that Swampert game.
Dude, yeah. Dude, he beat Love Chance, right? Was that who it was?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
exactly.
never forget that. And
No one will.
There's a reason why Love Chance is
That's a
no longer
DPL
around. Yeah.
DPL classic right there.
Yeah, that's a oh dude. If somebody were to ask what is DPL, I'd show them that replay. I'd be like, this is what it is.
Don't show him that replay. Come on now.
Nah, dude,
Show him a closer game.
show him you versus fucking Gypsy. That's like one of the greatest games of all time, dude. Like actually.
Okay. He was not paid to say that. I just want to be clear. Um, yeah, but that's this team. How do you feel about that?
It's a pretty sound team.
Them?
I don't really hate it.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah. Good captain core, good players. Some of them didn't do that well. Some of them haven't done well ever. But I mean, you got Bobbert, you have Dio, you got Toxic, you got Vest, Undead. I think could consistently prove to actually go well over 500. So, like I said, I mean, I think it's a good team personally.
Yeah, looking at this team again, I think they are better than I originally thought after we went over them.
Yeah, I'm a little
Snow.
iffy on Hacker. I'm a little iffy on like Slick if he plays, and I'm a little iffy on Professor Chipboard if he's truly not going to be active. But I got faith in everybody else though. And
Okay, well,
Phil too. You never know. It's basically a coin flip if he wins. But anyways, we got the Pori God squad, coached by
we got spot.
the
Sharky and AM22.
yeah lover of
This is
homosexuals.
another guy.
We have the lover of the homosexual Sharky and AM22, the goat, bro.
Sharky is another guy we need to apologize to.
Why? What did you do to him, bro?
No, what do you mean? We drafted him in Cowboy Beacons. That was
Oh
his
yeah. Oh
score.
dude, I forgot. Yeah, he was like, I think he was like already somewhat known, but yeah, we gave him the opportunity, and he did really well when he played. So, and well, that's why he's got a lot of respect as a player now. So
Dude, we are jokes as captains. We are clowns, man.
maybe one day when we don't have so much strife in our life, we'll give it a
Yeah, maybe
shot to
one day
redeem
when I'm
ourselves.
rich and famous.
Yeah, and no longer have to work 40 hours a week. Yeah, you can put all your time
Yeah,
towards being a
DPL
captain.
season 30.
Season
DPL
30.
season 30.
Yeah, dude, we'll win that one. But this is a very interesting team. You want to go over to Cap? I guess AM22, he's got a lot of notoriety for just being around for a long time. He's a good player. He's beat me fair and square in Oraz in the past. So, I mean, I know he's a good player if he can do that to me personally. He's got a pretty good Oraz record. Yeah, he's 20 and 18. So he's got almost 40 games of DPL Oraz in his pocket. So that alone is really, really good to have. So again, having somebody who can consistently play that tier in DPL is such a good thing. The rest of his records aren't that great. He's 20 and 22 overall in his DPL career, but I mean, that the dude could play, and nobody who ever faced AM22 would be like, "Oh, this is gonna be an easy game," because the dude is just a sound player. So, and then Sharky is really damn good. Couple of down seasons recently, but I mean, he came out with a freaking bang, man, when he first came out. Gosh, he was like so hard to beat. He was just so the way he would use his offense was just like unbelievable. I remember I faced him in Clash of Kings, and I got completely destroyed by Sharky. So,
Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's a good player. So, those are my thoughts on the captain. Do you have any thoughts on him?
No, I mean, AM22 is one of those guys that's like been around for a long time, but I never really chat or battle. So, um, I only have like his records to go off of, and what very little I've actually spoken with him. Uh, did I? Was he my captain? No, it was Ian that was my captain. Was he on my team then? I'm trying to remember. This is kind of embarrassing, no lie.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, damn it, dude. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, and then Sharky. I know Sharky pretty well at this point. I haven't really talked to him recently, but like you said, he started off with a bang and then just slowly his
down.
record evened out. Yeah. It's just like, well, we know he can have really good seasons, so that's really all that matters here. But yeah, I don't have much more to say. Rob Jr.?
Yeah, Rob Jr., the previous reigning Oraz MVP, he's always been really good, and then he finally had his really good season again last season. Beat me in the playoffs in the finals, actually. I was one of the only losses in that series for us, but he won it fair and square. Played a pretty good game, pretty good prep. The dude is like a Smogon legend, I'm pretty sure, and he's a legend in draft too. He's been in multiple finals for multiple leagues, has proven time and time again that he can play in the playoffs, regular season, doesn't matter, and he can basically play any tier. So getting him for 28K is a pretty good value, in my opinion.
I just remembered I played against Rob Jr. back in NPL Minors, which is an insanely long time ago.
That was like 2017, right?
Dude, who knows? I just remember playing against him, and he was my first loss that season, and then I stopped caring about that league. So it goes, right?
Was that the one that you had to upload for?
I think I uploaded the first like 4 or 5 weeks or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Like,
I remember beating Carney Hobo.
NPL was always pretty strict about trying to always have an upload thing because they took you pretty seriously. I remember that.
Well, they flopped. That's all I can say.
NPL was flopped, yeah, but that was years ago. So.
Yeah. So Rob Jr., good player, really good player. Went for 28K for a reason. TDG.
Yeah. So I mentioned previously how there's players that have like lived on from just being a meme. TDG is another example. Like the dude can play, man, and it shows. Last season he was arguably the best player in was it Sword and Shield. Let me just fact check myself before I say anything. It was Sword and Shield. He was the number 1 rated player. He was 6-2. His prep is like something that is just something that you need to experience. Sometimes it's a complete joke. Other times it's like, wow, this is like working of a genius. And he's really also honed his craft to be a really good player when the game happens. And he is beyond active, so he's able to give really good, he's able to give mocks. He's able to, help with team prep. Sometimes he gives a little bit of wacky ideas that kind of stray from a pretty good game plan. That was, the main gripe I had of him. But that was also, a couple seasons ago, so maybe he's moved on from that. But the dude is talented, and he deserves to go for 25K no matter what you think about him. And that's me saying this. But him as a player, I think is really, I got a lot of respect for him, is what I'm trying to say.
Last season, he went for 5.5, and he was one of our, consistent main points on our team, like winning constantly, keeping us afloat. Him and Vess. So I think this is deserved.
Yeah,
Let's just hope it doesn't. Let's just hope this
doesn't get to
25K
his head.
pressure.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
or not even
Well,
that, just the pressure of living up to the
yeah, the
number.
pressure is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but no, the dude deserves it. So good for him. Next we have 9K Hiker Toad. Oh, I was his teammate
Honestly,
last season. What do you got to say?
maybe an overpay. Maybe an overpay. Thoughts?
My thoughts are this guy was never active. When the playoffs came around and it was like literally like game 6 we had to win, he just didn't show up. Like we had to sub in. I think it was it was Love Chance, and Love Chance won the game for us. It was like
That's tough.
something out of a fucking movie. I'm like, wow, I cannot believe this is happening. Literally, he had like an hour to look at the team. Was like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna go in. Let's see what happens, and he won the game against somebody who had probably been prepping all week long. So, yeah, he's got great experience. He was once one of the better players in the community, but that's like a far cry from where he is now. And I don't know if he's even any good. I have no reason to believe it. I've said for like 3 seasons now, maybe he'll finally live up to the potential he had back then, and he just hasn't. So I think I'm a little exhausted of just saying maybe he'll do it this year. I have absolutely no reason to think he's going to do it, but I would like to be pleasantly surprised. Those are my thoughts.
I'm still of the opinion that, if you have reached a peak like that before, you can be that good again. It's just, it comes and goes, I think. And I think 9K is, I was saying it was an overpay, but honestly, probably not an overpay if I'm being honest. As long as, if he wins his games, if he plays his games, and then if he wins, like, at least half of them, I think this is a good price.
Yeah, I mean, and he went 3-3 with us. He was undefeated in Auras when I did help him with his prep. So, hey,
Wait, he played 6 games? That's crazy.
yeah, he played 6 games. It was just in the playoffs where he like completely bailed. And even when we won, he didn't say anything. Like we don't know what happened to him. We were seriously concerned. Like we were like reaching out to the people who knew him IRL if they knew what was going on with him, and they were like, "Yeah, we saw him on Snapchat and he was moving about." So we knew he was okay. But we were like, "Man, like what happened? Like
It's
he
kind of funny.
like disappeared off the face of the map." But yeah. Next we got the Milkman Jimmy G.
Minji?
He's a good player, man. I like Jimmy G. Pretty well respected. I don't know if he was like a meme at first, but he's always been known as the Milkman because his profile picture is just a glass of milk. But
Is that what that's about?
yeah,
Wait, people might call him the milkman because of his profile picture?
yeah, it's because of his profile picture being a glass of milk. That's it. That's the only reason why people call him that.
That can't be true. That can't be the only reason.
It's true.
Oh,
It's true. You can like
dude,
ask him yourself if you want to. Yeah.
I'm gonna DM him right now, actually.
Yeah, go. You can go do that. But while he does that, yeah, Jimmy G, he's had some pretty good experience in DPL. I think he's probably played at least a few seasons now. I want to say he went 3-2 last season, positive record. Didn't play that many games. He played about like 60% of them. And he went positive. So that's always what you want to see within a player. He's done again. Sound like a broken record, but he hasn't really had any down seasons at any point that he's played. So 16.5K, same value as myself. So I want to say he could definitely win most games if given the opportunity to play. I don't know what tier he normally plays. I'm seeing here that he normally plays Sword and Shield, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, Sword and Shield's his main tier, but maybe he'll play Scarlet Violet. But I think Sword and Shield's his main tier for the most part. You have any thoughts on the Milkman?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so used to seeing him go for less than this. Like, almost significantly less. Like, how much did he go for last season?
I'll check if you want to talk about it. He went for 10K last season.
10K?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He was
I'm
10K.
so used to seeing him around that range. So, seeing him at 16.5K, my initial thought is, whoa, this is an overpay. But then I'm like, no, it's not an overpay. That's just how it goes. People get better, or maybe not get better. Maybe he was already good, but like people notice your skill more, and then you go for more, right?
Yeah, that's how the hierarchy of this works theoretically.
I think Jimmy G went for a fine price. Maybe some people will say this is an overpay. I think this is fine though, personally.
Yeah,
And he's a cool dude. I've chatted with him multiple times. I've battled him multiple times. He's always been a cool dude to play against.
yeah. I remember when like I beat him in the DGBA playoffs. He was like, "Yeah, dude, you deserve to win." Like I really have nothing else to say. So I mean,
Oh, yeah, you played him like last week.
Yeah. So to give me like such admiration after a loss, like I don't know, that takes a lot of respect for your player, because I know how hard it is to tell somebody you deserve to win.
You
when you
heard it here
lose.
first, folks. You just gotta suck up to Josh, and he'll like you.
Well, even besides that, I think he's a good player. Next we got Your Dunk. I really don't know anything about this guy. I just know he talks a lot. I don't know if he's done anything in DPL at all. I think he hasn't. He wasn't drafted last season, at least, and I think
Hey,
he's
streets say he's an L5 vault.
yeah, that's what they say, right? And I honestly kind of believe it, but I mean,
No. Okay, first of all,
he, we can,
obviously
we
not
can't we can't
true.
say that. Otherwise, L5 would be banned. And he's a like
Second of
literally
all,
he's one of the bigger DPL moderators. So
he's literally he's god of DPL. You
L5,
can't ban L5.
yeah, but
Yurdunk, I don't really know much about Yurdunk playing wise, so
yeah.
I can't really say
He went for
much.
8.5K. It could just purely be based off activity alone, but I think
I see him talk a lot. I will say that much.
he could probably play. I don't know how well though, so I'll be interested. I don't know much to say about him.
Yeah.
And I'll go first on this one if you don't mind. Speaking of our Cowboy Behem experience, oh man,
He owes us an apology.
Devin, I love you, buddy. I really, really, really do. I love talking about Jujutsu Kaisen with you, all the anime. I fucking love it, man. But let's be fucking real. You have never lived up to your potential ever as a draft player. You are a Smogon legend, bro, and you never do fucking anything in draft, man. And it really irks me because I think you have so much potential. I really, really do. And I know you got stuff that happens in life, and I really like you, man. And I just really want to see you do good once, man. I really like it. But like even in DGBA, man, you had to drop out because you just didn't care. And then like there's been other draft leagues where you get drafted and you just don't care. I would really like for this to be the exception. Maybe you finally do well, but I don't know, man. I mean, 9K for somebody who is really experienced at the game is pretty good value. But you know what? I take it back. You've gone 8-6 overall in DPL, so you've done okay. But recently, you have not done that well. So I would like for you to do well again, my friend. That's what I got to say about you. If you can do well, you're worth every penny. If you are not active and you don't really help much else with your prep and other people's prep, it's a slight overpay. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as I don't know Devin as much as you know Devin, so I'm not as strong feeling about it. But I still remember you bringing in MSU. Don't think I forgot. But yeah, I don't have much beef or anything. I think he's cool.
Yeah.
And clearly he can win. Like he's done really well in Smogon, so I just don't know what the deal is like in drafts sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So 9K, I think it's fine. Maybe
it could be better, and
No,
it literally could be like worse because he could provide 0 value. But we'll see. It just depends.
we'll see. Killy.
I've teamed with Killuminati. He is a great prepper, great mocker, great activity guy. Terrible player. I'm sorry. The lack of execution with this guy is just lack of execution with this guy has been really subpar. And I don't mean that in any sort of like ill will, because I don't. But I haven't really seen anything to really confirm that this guy's a good player. But he went for 5.5K. He will provide great activity. He's a really good person. And again, he'll give you good mocks. He gives really good recommendations to things that really change the way you approach your game that matter. And I think that is something that is kind of underspoken about him. And I think that alone probably provides him more value than 5.5K. But don't expect him to win games. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are my thoughts.
I've never teamed with Killy. I've only spoken with Killy like in chat a few times. Cool dude, honestly.
Oh, he is. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
So I don't mean any slight. I'm just being brutally honest about this.
I don't know if you don't mean any slight.
I don't, man. If I did, I would truly voice it, but I don't mean any slight with Killy.
Just hope Kelly does well. That's all.
Me too. Me too. I don't know anything about Garf. He went for 8.5K though. Do you have literally any knowledge on this guy? I don't know anything about him.
The only thing I know is that his name sounds like puke.
It sounds like Barf. Yeah.
Barf.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. That's about wonderful analysis from us. Next we got Ice Demon Gray, true OG of the game.
Hold on.
You know stuff about Garf? Okay.
I do think I know one thing. I think he's good friends with Sharky.
Oh, okay.
And maybe Killy as well.
Makes sense because I think
And maybe TDG as well.
I think they're all. They're all in the Sharky server, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think Garf is a good friend of theirs, so I think that's why he got drafted here. And he's probably a good friend of Sunsun and Yahoodles or something, which is I think they upbid on him.
They did.
And isn't he? I'm gonna go check that, but you can continue.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go for the last two because yeah. Let me see. We got Ice at 5.5. They got him on an up bid from another nominee, so that's pretty funny. He is a interesting player. From what I could tell, not the most active player. I've teamed up with him once.
Dude.
He was actually decently active when I was his teammate, but he doesn't really play too many games because I don't think coaches really want him to play.
Yeah, I love Ice. I think he's amazing. I think he's a great teammate to have personally. And I'll stand by that.
He's a good teammate.
And he can win games. He can win games, so that's not an issue.
Yeah.
That's all.
I agree with you, like, pretty wholeheartedly. He's 10-13 overall, not amazing, but I mean 10 wins is not like too little, but 13 losses
could be worse.
Could be worse. But yeah, don't expect amazing play, but he's not going to give you bad play, and he's a pretty sound player. And then we got Dax for 5. I don't know who this is. 5K minimum price. This was, I think, like literally like a panic nominee because Sharky just wanted to get skipped and they were not allowed to, so they just picked a random guy. So, okay, I
don't random. Let's be a little.
He was off a coin. He was off a coin flip, and luckily we didn't know who the other guy was. That would be awful if we did. So,
I don't know anything about Dact either, so unfortunately I can't say anything other than like, hopefully he does well. He can prove something that he's a DPL player.
But yeah, this is like,
I don't know.
This is a team with the most players selected actually. So this would be a team where they do not have to worry about having everybody play every week. They have 11 players to work with. So that's also pretty nice.
Let's hope that works to their advantage.
Yeah, because sometimes more doesn't always mean better, but I think in this case it's okay.
Also, important to note, they have like 2 captains that can play, but they are only doing it so one captain plays every week.
Oh, I did not know that, Dor. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, so
maybe
they really only have 10 players.
Yeah, I don't know. That was important to know.
No, they have 11.
I think.
Oh no, I'm wrong. They actually do have 11 players. Even if just one coach plays, they have 11 players.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Ready to move on to the last
Sharky
team?
and AM22 can't play at the same time. So last team, Two Blade versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Possibly the meme team of the season, I would say.
I have some thoughts over it, so.
Oh, okay. Let me explain why I say meme team. Because first of all, when people saw the Captain Paris come out and then they saw Yahuda's Sun, people were like, "What? Who are these guys?" Or not who are these guys, but it's like to the wider community, these 2 players as a captain core seem significantly weaker than all the other captain cores. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that's the perception that was given off the boot. So you have Zing and Craig, and then you have like Ethan and Vess, you got IA and Sky, and then you have Yahoodles and Sun. So people are like, what the heck? So if that wasn't already like a meme to start for people, Zazo 55K just seals the deal in the meme department. Not because he's not worth 55K, though some people might say he's not worth 55K. Some people would say no one's worth 55k. It's just kind of funny how this turned out. And genius upbidding by iPro on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was so funny when it was happening. It was such a good watch. Clearly there's some kind of plan here with Zaza going for 55k. He has to do some heavy lifting on this team. So I hope he's ready for that. Even if he, like, at the end of the day, he can't play for everyone. So then there's Aki. I guess I'll just go through this.
If you want, yeah.
Aki VGC. I teamed with him once on Trick of Eye. I don't think he performed that well that season, but he was very active and like a really good team player. So I like Aki. Kyle, this is Luffy. 16k. I don't really remember much about him at all in terms of play wise. I don't think I ever played against him, and I really don't talk to him that much. So I don't have much of an opinion on Kyle here.
He's got a combined 4-3 record in DPL. He's not bad.
Well, that doesn't say much.
No. He went for 12.
Then there's Zoo.
Went for 16k, man. I mean, shit, you better.
Yeah, that is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I went for. Like, just for reference.
I don't know anything about Zooch, really. So, man, like, so many players I just don't know enough about. PZZ, I do know a little bit. He's had good performances before. I hope he does well. I just hope he does well. Lux, another player that I've seen very little of. I mean, no, that's not true. I've seen Lux around. Just not a level have I seen Lux at. So, not to say Lux can't perform at a high level, but just you can only work with what you get. Odin, we know, possibly, arguably, the craziest steal here at 5k. Odin is a good player. But he is out weeks 3 through 6, and he said in his application he's only going to focus on his games. So maybe 5k is right here because you only have him for 4 weeks. Venga Benga, from what I've seen, it's not much. And I've played Venga Benga once. But Venga Benga is like a good player. Like, this is a good 5k in my opinion. Like a really good 5k pickup. And then PTK, I don't know PTK at all. At all. Like, at least I've heard the name Zooch. Well, and I've heard the name Dact, but PTK I've never even heard of. So that is my analysis of the team. Not a very thorough analysis, but you can only do so much when you don't know all the players too well.
Yeah. So, do we know if both captains are playing, Yahudels and Sun?
Bro, just look at the star. And 1 star means only 1 captain.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
Under the team name.
Yeah, so I imagine Sun plays. I don't really know their skill level at all. I thought they were both
I think
decently not good, but I don't really know much about
Sun is going to be the one playing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I literally have never heard of Yahudels. That could be an AI generated name for all I care. I mean, for all I know, I don't know who he is, but
Bro, Yahudels is cool. Oh, you know what? I didn't talk about the captains that much, other than I was calling them memes. No, they are cool people. Okay, and I think Sunsun has performed somewhat at a high level. I don't actually know, but I am not gonna accept you calling Yahudels a bot or an AI. Okay, so
I just never heard of him, bro.
Shut up.
But I think this team actually has some real potential. I think Aki with Zazo is like a pyramid in heaven because they have been good friends for a long time now. Zazo is arguably probably the best teacher of the game, of Pokemon in general. So him having an opportunity to really like flex his skills for a team truly, because normally he would just do it as a freelancer basically for random people, however he felt like. But having the opportunity to again have your own team basically to really try to help coach and prep every week with his knowledge and skill, I think is enough for 55K to be worth every penny in my opinion, and I mean that. So it really just comes down to the execution with like Lux, PZZ, Luffy. I know, like, I mean, Luffy's won some games. Lux has actually only ever played 2 games in their career. They're 1-1. Banga Banga's never played in DPL. Odin is actually a really good player. I was a little taken aback by his like really low price at first, but the fact that he is going to be not around. Not to mention his DPL record is actually pretty lackluster at 6-9. So, but he has improved drastically over time, I would say. So if let's say you were to put 100% effort into this, I think he would actually do pretty well, honestly. But with him being gone for half the season and him only focusing on his games, I don't know. It's actually gonna be quite interesting because he's gonna show up at the end of the season where the playoffs are on the line. So if he can come back and show some clutch performances, then that 5K price tag is worth every penny for sure. And so yeah, this really comes down to the execution with like Zooch, Lux, PTK, and Vanga Banga. I don't know really much anything about them, but I mean, like I said, they got the greatest teacher of all time in their team, and arguably one of the greatest players of all time in draft. So I think there's real potential with this team. In fact, I think it's literally probably one of the better teams in the entire league for that reason alone. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
On that note, do we want to rank all the teams now? Do you have an idea of your rankings?
I do. Let me fix my notepad, but
Yeah, pull up a notepad, put a notepad on your screen, and put 2 separate lists, 1 through 8, on it.
2 separate lists. Okay. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
you need mine. You need to put mine.
Yeah. Let me do that. I'm gonna get 2. I'm about to cover up the whole screen for y'all right now. I apologize, but it must be done, my friends. But
It must be done.
there we go. We got 2
As you do
notepads.
that-
I'm gonna title one, Josh, and I'm gonna name the other one Hunter. And
Okay,
then
sure.
you want to go in like ascending order from 8 to 1, or what are we thinking?
Yeah, we'll start at 8.
Okay.
So, do you want to go? You have an idea of what your 8 is? I can go first
Oh,
because I know what my 8
I know
is.
mine too, but you can go first for sure.
Okay, I'll go first. My number 8, what I think will be the worst team, is Nature's Madmen, coached by Habita and Blitz.
The Nature's Madman.
and-
And what are your What are your reasons on that?
Yeah, I mean, without going into super detail, because we've already done a lot of detail.
Of course.
I just think this team is heavily relying on someone like Sky Penguin, who has not ever played DPL, and we've seen multiple Smogon players do terribly in DPL, like X-Ray, which we've said like 30 times now, and BEA. I don't know if you remember BEA.
I remember BEA now. Yeah, that's a good
BEA
one.
went for like 28.5K, by the way.
And they didn't go winless, but they had a really bad record. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also relying on Nick to do well, who I don't know what his overall record is, but I don't think it's the most amazing thing. Same for Blitz. And if Rye or Habita lose a game, you're gonna be hard pressed to win that week, I think.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
And that's why I'm it's just a matter of not much proven veterans on this team, I guess you want to say it. Or rather, yeah, I think I'll stick with that. Just not very proven of a team, I think, altogether.
Okay. Well, I had a different team at first on number 8, but I've really given this some real serious thought, and I am going to put the Nature's Badman at number 8 as well. For
Really?
the same reason. A lot of teams are actually very good. It's actually really not really any sort of slight. I just kind of have the same concern. I don't know much about the Sky Penguin guy, but I do think players like Nick can be pretty consistent and get you wins about 60% of the time. But players like Metro, Lucas, Joshua, I'm not a million percent on how they're gonna do. Flying Bird, if he puts
Yeah,
in better effort than I think he's going to, though, they could actually get some pretty good
yeah.
W's. But I don't know. There's so
And
many question marks.
just to be clear, I do think they like. I don't think they're like a lock to not make playoffs either, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been on a team where people thought, oh, this team is a lock to not make playoffs, and
Oh,
then
I
boom, we
know.
won the championship.
Yeah, the
Tanging.
Tang gang. That was a team for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not saying they're a lock to not make playoffs. I just think they might encounter the most trouble. So that's why I have them at my 8. So are we ready for number 7?
Yeah, I'm ready for 7.
7, I have Made in Heaven. Wow, bars?
7,
Bars?
Made in Heaven. Okay. And what are your reasons on that one?
We talked about a lot about them as a team earlier. Just very old. That's a funny way to put it. But yeah, just concerned about Scarlet Violet and lackluster performances from some of their top players. Jake, Sebi, and Lejon, right?
Yeah.
And I thought Harris too, but he had a good season last season, so maybe not as much. So I'm just concerned. That's all. I need to see consistency instead of another flop season for some of them.
Okay. It's tough, man. There's
What do
really a lot of teams that I'm really questioning.
You're writing my list down as
Yeah,
I say it,
yeah,
right?
I am. Yeah, don't worry. Okay.
If you want,
So
I can continue. Or
no,
do you
I
want
have an idea. So I really gave this some serious thought right now, and this wasn't at all my first interpretation, but I'm gonna put Double versus Goliath as my number 7. And
Whoa!
I'm gonna be honest. I really think they got 2 real players, and the rest of them I have really no idea what they're gonna do. If Odin's gonna
What?
be gone for
I
half the
don't think
season, if yeah, if Odin's gonna be gone for half the season, and from what I could tell, I haven't been really impressed by Sun Sun as a player. And if Yahudos isn't gonna be playing, I really can't give any interpretation on him either, even if I wanted to. Like, yeah, Zaza and Aki are like goats in their own right. I have absolutely no doubt about that. But like, I don't know how I feel about like Lux, Luffy, Zooch, and Venga Banga being your 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then
what about PZZ?
I don't think PCC is that great. He's like okay, um, like
Aw.
it's kind of another 50-50 like coin flip player to win the game as well. Like it's not somebody I could say, oh, they're gonna win most of your games. So so
Hey, I mean, winning 50% of your games is already good, in my opinion.
yeah, I'm just compared to everybody else that I've seen, I have the most question marks about the Doublade versus Goliaths, but I did say I got a lot of respect for their top rated player, and maybe he can absolutely direct his team to victory with his knowledge and prep, but I have to put them at 7. I'm sorry.
Wow, okay.
What's your
I'm
number
surprised.
6 here?
Well,
In that case,
6th, I have, and I did a lot of moving around here. I ended up sticking with Pori God Squad at number 6.
all right.
My reasoning being, it's like I like the Rob Jr. here. I think TDG is good. But it's like after that, it's we're hoping Jimmy G can win most of his games, and then a bunch of players who haven't seen consistent winning the way Rob Jr. and TDG and Jimmy G have, and only one of their captains is playing when they're both good players. So that's what concerns me. Do you see what I'm saying?
I actually totally agree with you. They're my number 6 as well. Like, if I had to be honest with you, like, if they were both playing the captains, I would have a lot more faith in this team. But the fact that there's only one definitely concerns me as well. Like I said, I really don't have much. I don't know what to expect of Hiker Toad. Like, he actually did play the majority of
Yeah,
his
exactly.
games. He went 500 though, and then disappeared in the playoffs. I don't know if his driver's going to be there to want to play. But I mean, Rob Jr., TDG, they're great players. I mean, they're going to win most of their games. They're not even like at all a doubt. Like, they're going to give you good prep, good play, all that stuff. Jimmy G, pretty good player. But then the rest, like Your Dunk, Devin, Killuminati, Ice, Garf, like these are all players that I don't feel confident in winning a lot of games, unfortunately. So for me, I have to put them at number 6 for that reason.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's why I had them at 6. I think why don't you give your 5 first?
Yeah, my number 5 will actually be it'll be Made in Heaven here. I'm gonna give it number 5. My 5 and 4 are pretty much a toss up though, so take that how
You
you
put them a
will.
lot higher than I expected.
Yeah, I gave it some thought because I really was on the same agreement with you. Zugubu, I think, is actually a pretty great pickup, and that alone elevates their value from their players they have. Harris is a great player. He showed he could play again. I don't see why he won't continue that. And I think Jake is actually going to really perform. I got a really good feeling about him. So I think that's going to be good. Not to mention you have iPro and LeJon playing. iPro is going to get you some great wins. And like I said, if Zugubu can play similarly to last season, Harris, Jake, if Sebi can play decently, if LeJon can play decently, and I think those ifs are pretty likely, and at least one of them does good. So that's already 5 pretty good players you have in your pocket. I think Made in Heaven's got a real chance to have a really good playoff run, or make the playoffs and potentially give it a run. But like I said, they could be my 4, and it could also be my 5. I like my 4 team as well, but I'm going to put them at 5 for that reason.
My number 5 team is actually Legion of Boom, led by Ethan and Vess. And I similar to you, I was stuck between my 4 and 5 here, which one I wanted at 5, which one I wanted at 4. But no, I have Legion of Boom sitting right outside of the playoffs by the end of the season. I think. Why did I? With the chipboard not being super active, hacker not being super active, and then we got Theo, Ethan, Vess. These guys are like, okay, I can rely on these guys to win games. I don't know what to expect from Undead. Imel, I'm expecting Imel to go positive, right? And that's already like 4 people that you expect to go positive. But I just don't see it happening either. I don't see this team. I don't see all the people that should go positive here actually end up going positive. Because that's just how DPL goes. Sometimes the good players don't always have good records. And I think this team is going to be one of those that suffer like that.
I see.
I don't know. Man, I'm kind of convincing myself to switch them with my number 4. I'll keep them at 5. I'll keep them at 5.
For now. Like you said,
It's a reluctant 5.
No, my 5 was reluctant too. I feel you.
So yeah.
You want to go with your 4?
Number 4. Yeah. My number 4. That's where I have Two-Blade and Goliath versus Goliath.
Okay.
I'm a lot higher on people like PZZ and Lux and Venga Banga, and I think Odin, even though he's only going to focus on his games and be gone 3 weeks, he's still going to be there for 4 of the weeks,
You said he was
which
gone
is enough
weeks
to make playoffs.
3 to 6, right?
3 to 5.
Oh, 3 to 5. Okay. Then yeah, he's gonna play 5 games then. Yeah, that's not bad.
And then Aki and Zazo, again, this is going to have to be a hard Zazo carry. So, maybe I'm underestimating the rest of the team. Maybe they could win without Zazo. But they're going to look up to Zazo as their 55k player, And I think Zazo knows that. I think he knows his role on this team. And that's why I have them at 4, because I think he knows what he has to do and he knows how to do his role. So that's why I put them at 4. I think it'll be just enough.
Okay. Yeah, so my 4 is going to be the Legion of Boom here, actually. It's going to be my number 4.
Yeah.
I think Theo and Toxic are going to be really, really good, and I think Vess is going to be really good as well. Undead's going to be great. So those are 4 players I have absolutely the utmost confidence in. And honestly, they could be by 3 as well. But I'm a little iffy on Imo, to be honest with you. Like, he's had good seasons, but 1-4 a little scares me a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be able to really do it again. That's me saying, that's me liking him. You know, Hacker, I'm not 100% confident in, but they also got Bobbert. So I think Toxic Vest, Dio, Undead, Bobbert's already a really strong pairing. And then that doesn't include if Hacker does well, if Imel does well, if Professor Chipboard does well. So this is a team that actually has an incredible amount
Slick
of
is
upside.
gonna do well.
If Slick does well, literally
Yeah,
every single player is viable for sure. But
I think this team has a lot of upside.
yeah, I'm just a little questioning. But I mean, number 4 is a playoff team, so don't take it too personally. I think y'all are actually really good. So
Yeah.
that's my 4.
All right.
My number 3, I'm actually gonna do this for this reason. It's gonna be y'all. It's the Wigglytuff Guild. I have you at number 3.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna do that.
Yeah.
Actually, at number 3, I have Trickle.
Yeah, so I'll go over yours first because I'm sure y'all are number 1. I'm a little iffy on Scrappy and Palkia and Burger, but Scrappy did okay. He went 3-4 last year. Burger went 2-2 last season. I don't know anything about this Sylvie person. It's got me a little bit concerned, but I mean, L5 is great. Pyro is great. Hunter is good in his own respect, despite his record last season. And Aster, I think, is amazing. So that's already 4 good players. Money Guy is pretty good. He's won some great games in the past, but now really calling up on Money Guy to probably play a lot of games, it's going to be very interesting because I've never seen him do that. So I don't know how good he's really going to perform, to be honest. But I mean, his right-hand man is somebody incredibly talented and very skilled. So I'm sure he'll make sure he's got a great game plan, but we will see. Only time will tell. But I mean, it's a great team. Again, a playoff team in the making. But that's they're my number 3 because I think the top 2 are just that much better.
Yeah, I have Trickavai at number 3. I honestly just I have them at number 3, but it feels like they should be higher. But the other 2 teams I just have higher. Number 3 feels disrespectful almost, but that's how much respect I have for their captain core and pretty much every single player on that team. Hopefully no one underperforms here because an underperformance could spell trouble for this team.
Yeah, because again, if Greg isn't that active, yeah, you always know who's gonna play every week because they have 9 players. So
yeah, but all these players, they're all good players.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
To be fair, there's a similar issue for a lot of other teams, which we haven't really been going over too much. But like y'all only have 9 players, we only have 9 players. Trickavai has 9 players, stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah, honestly, it speaks more to how I feel about the other 2 teams that I put Trickavai at number 3 than how I feel about Trickavai.
Yeah, which speaking of, I'll go off on this. Yeah, Trickavai is my number 2. I mentioned this earlier, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for IA and Skyhorse. They're both fucking badass people. Both great players in their own respect. And then I got a lot of respect for Shadow. Mountain Eye seems great. I really hope he can continue from last season's success. LQP is a GOAT. ASDF seems really good. And Sablo is a guy who can get you some pretty good wins. Again, sort of depending how he feels. And if he really wants to put his heart into it, he will win a lot of games. So, again, that's already like 6 players. If Greg can really get some W's, if TJ can get some wins, that's a team that can win like 6 games a week very easily. And I mean that with a lot of conviction. So, this is a team that I think is almost a surefire playoff team if they really live up to their potential. I
agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I know who your number 2 is going to be, but just go on with it. I want to hear it.
My number 2 is the Band Chasers. Again, arguably the second strongest captain core behind the number 1 team. Josh, Glop, Soggy, Doggy, Woggy, Poggy, and Lax. These are their top 4 and I can see consistent wins with these 6 players. I can easily see 4 out of the 6 winning every single week, and just forcing a tiebreaker is really good. And then just need one more win after the 4 of those 6, or even 5 of those 6 winning. Boom, you already win the week, and I think that's just crazy powerful. Um, and then that's not to say that Castilia, Max, and Dougal can't win games. You know, it's just they're not higher priced like the rest of y'all. Um, I think I don't want to call y'all a playoff lock, but I think y'all are really set up for success here at number as your band chasers.
Okay.
That's why I have y'all at number 2.
All right, that's fair. And it's safe to say what our number ones are, but I think we could say we'll give ourselves some constructive criticism here with our number one rankings. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first to finish this?
You go first, because I don't know what you mean by constructive criticism.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with obviously my team, the Band Chasers. I think we just have the best captain core, undoubtedly. I think a lot of people would agree with that. It's really not me being biased here. Zing and 100p have 100% deserved to be called probably the strongest captain core. And again, we got Glop, who was on an absolute tear last season to end the year. I mean, I did pretty well, respectively. Lax and Sage have done really well in their own respective leagues recently. And then Max has performed well. He went even last season. He's got a lot of knowledge in his own respective tier, so I have no doubt he could do good. And then Castilia, undefeated in their own thing. So there's a lot of things going for us. Obviously, the only issue is we are a 9-person team. We need basically everybody to really put in a lot of work every week, no breaks. That's kind of the end of the story. With obviously, whoever decides to be on the bench can maybe rotate with whoever's like on the lower end to maybe rotate, or whoever's just not feeling playing that week. But that could definitely cause some concern. I understand, but I mean, the only really concern I have some of the question marks with some of the players who have not played the DPL, which is quite a few. I mean, it's Castilia, there's Lax and Sage. They have not played ever, so we'll see if they can live up to their potential. And obviously, like Hunter mentioned, the 6 of 8 players on our team having the opportunity to realistically win most weeks. If they fumble and are not doing that consistently, then there might be some spell for concern. But besides that, I think we're by far the best team in the league. And those are my thoughts.
And at my number 1, I have Wiggly Tough Skilled. Undoubtedly the best captain core in King L5 and Money Guy. Like, you can't even dispute it. What was that? Oh, so what I was saying about your team, how top 6, blah blah blah. You just need 4 of those 6. I feel the same way about Wigglytuff's guild, except instead of the top, like 4 out of the top 6, it's 4 out of the top 9. I think this team has 9 players that can go undefeated, and that's why I have them at number 1, undisputed. I don't have any concerns whatsoever, and you might think I'm stupid, but I'm not. I it's coming from the heart, bro.
I feel like you said this last season too about your team, but I like the
Shut up! Shut up!
I like the conviction.
You don't know me, Josh.
I like the conviction here.
But yeah, that's how I feel.
All right, and with that wraps up our ranking. That wraps up our thoughts. This is going well over 2 hours at this point, but I'll put timestamps for you guys watching, so you don't have to watch all this. But if you're like on a long
you
car,
will?
I'll put timestamps. If you're on a long car ride or something and you need something to listen to, I hope we were able to provide you some entertainment. But
Hey, I got a question for you.
what's up?
Will Pardon the Eruption come back this season? Yes or no?
That is entirely up to the person asking the question.
No,
Is
nope.
it not?
You got to answer yes or no right now. Say yes or no.
I would love if it came back.
Dude, you a real politician. Dodging the question.
I know, dude. Dodging the question, directing it back towards you and putting it in your guilty conscience. My answer is if You want it back. I want it back.
Okay, wrap up this video. It's long enough.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe and all that bullshit, and we'll be seeing you guys later. Don't expect much more content. We just felt like doing this because we care about the community and we felt passionate about it. So, any last thoughts before I click the end video button?
No, click the button.
All right. See you guys later.